All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And thank you, as always, for waiting patiently for the intro to finish up there. I hope everybody is doing well today. Today, we're talking about gaming subscription services once again. More specifically, we're going to be going over an interesting announcement that Microsoft just made about GamePass. They raised the prices of GamePass. They're removing day one games from the standard tier. A lot of things changing with GamePass, and of course, with an announcement like this, thank you, PS Gamer. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's new. I'm glad you like it. With an announcement like this, you know, there's going to be a lot of toxic conversations happening. You know, kind of similar to when PlayStation, I remember they raised the price of PlayStation Plus, like just out of nowhere, for like without adding anything either. And man, the conversations weren't fun, you know? We had to be real about some shit going on there. But yeah, we're going to be talking about this today. We're going to be going over the information. We're going to be having a general discussion about the subscription service and where it stands in gaming right now, and then potentially, you know, speculate about the future. And we have OK coming in, dropping a single membership gift once again. OK is starting off the day once again. He did this yesterday. He's doing it again today. I really appreciate that, buddy. Good stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But yeah, guys, listen. We're going to be going over this information. We're going to be reflecting a little bit on PlayStation Plus as well. PlayStation Plus's lineup was actually announced today, the extra and premium lineup. Maybe we'll cover that too. Yeah, PS Gamer, I saw that. I was kind of waiting to see if more information would come out about that first. That could be something. That's likely something we're going to bring up tomorrow. I'm honestly just like waiting for more info on that to come out because it feels like there's going to be more to it. Not entirely sure. But yeah, I was seeing that kind of underreported on right now. And usually when that happens, it tells me that there's more info coming. We have Brett Williams, a member for 19 months, who says PlayStation raised the price without adding anything. Xbox raising the price and taking things away. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. Yeah, that's the thing. It feels like right now there's basically a bunch of arguments going on about like who's worse, who's better. And in reality, it's like I don't know, man. Obviously people are going to say Game Pass is better, but it just feels like in general, the gaming subscription service, I don't know, man. I just don't know that it's going to be like the future of gaming as maybe it seemed like it was going to be in the beginning. Thank you, IP Gaming. That's the second compliment I got on my shirt. I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys like it. It's a different color. I don't really wear colors like this. I'm like, you know what? I wear a lot of black usually, or just very you know, basic colors. So I was like, okay. Mrs. MBG picked this shirt up for me. I'm like, oh, I like it. Yeah, I like these types of shirts. They're really comfortable. I don't know like if there's a name for them. I guess they're like athletic shirts or whatever, but they're very comfortable. So yeah. We also have Robert West coming in and re-upping his membership as well. Robert, thank you so much, my friend. Welcome back to Greatness Awaits. Look forward to your exclusive member perks. Very much appreciate it. And so, yeah, I do want to let you guys know. Damn, digital dude, that's savage. That's savage. I think it's called copper, in case you were wondering, digital dude. That's pretty funny, though. That's all I'm going to think of now when I wear this shirt. But I do want to let all of my channel members know, or those who are not channel members but maybe considering becoming a channel member, or if you end up receiving a membership gift, we did a extended members lounge yesterday. It was a 2.5 hour members lounge, and it was a really, really interesting one. I actually went with a more specific thumbnail and title so people can kind of see what the content is. But it was it was really a good time. I think I had a good time. Those who partook in it seem to have had a good time. So if you are a channel member, just a reminder, you have access to that content as well as all the previous members' content. So feel free to go check that out. We also have Cypherpunk here with the super chat. Thank you for that, buddy. You're saying Sony and Microsoft charging extortionate prices for services. Highest PlayStation Plus tier is $250 a year, and Game Passes is $256. Anybody paying for that for either is a clown. Damn, Cypherpunk. Yeah, that's the crazy thing to me about both of these services is that, since the prices are going up, you really have to think about how much you're paying yearly and if you actually feel like you're getting your money's worth there. Because I think it's different for everybody. If you're somebody who likes to play a wide variety of games, you probably are truthfully getting your money's worth. Like, I mean, if you're playing a lot of games, right, and you're playing them for hours and hours at a time, you're probably getting your money's worth. But at the same time, there's that argument that has to be made. I think it's a good argument. And it's one that I think a lot of people, maybe overlook. And it's that if you're somebody who's not trying to play like a bunch of different games and you only really play a select few games a year, or not even a select few, I don't want to make it sound like one or two, or even three for that matter. But if you're just playing like basically a handful of games realistically each year, assuming under 10 games maybe, you really, I think at that point have to question, like, would it just be better to just buy them and own them? Especially physically, where you can resell them as well if you're done playing them. That's pretty much the polar opposite of subscribing. Yeah, you're saying 240 is about 3 games. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I guess like a handful of games, like I said, is probably the best way to look at it. Like, if you play between 3 and 5 games a year, or not play, but like, there are only 3 to 5 games that you engage with a year that you like really want to keep playing or really matter to you, you'd probably have to evaluate that. We have Ivan Owl saying, "Hey MBG, where is the PS5 Pro? Patience. It's coming. Apparently, we should be hearing about it in September." It's coming, Ivanhoe. And we have Cobb Sanity with a super chat. Thank you, bud. You're saying, I've seen an article on IGN about Game Pass going to Amazon Fire Stick TV, and it was the official Xbox Twitter account saying you don't need an Xbox. Yeah, people were telling me about this. I didn't realize the actual Xbox account said it. Hold on. Let me check. Because that's pretty crazy. I'm on the official Xbox account now. No console, don't be scared. Xbox gaming is rolling out today on Amazon Fire TV, where you'll be able to play games directly from the Xbox app. All right, so they didn't straight up say you don't need a console. I mean, that would be some crazy wording if they were like, you don't need a console. It's like, you may as well just say don't buy our console. But they're saying no console, don't be scared. We're scared. Yeah, weird times, man. Weird times. But listen, we are going to dive into this conversation, okay? I want to go over all the information with you. I'm going to let you know right up front, I have some bitching to do, okay? I'm just letting you know that now, because we're going to go over the information, and we're going to go over everything. But over the course of this stream, I'm going to have some bitching to do. But there's not to be some ranting, whatever you want to call it. But before I do that, I want to just thank you guys for joining me today. Everybody who's here watching live, thank you guys so much. I certainly appreciate the support and you guys being here. I also want to just make sure I give a shout out to those who watch later on. I know not everybody can catch the streams live, so if you are that person, thank you so much. I very much appreciate the viewership. I want to let you guys know a couple of ways you can support directly. If you haven't, by the way, hit that like button. Hitting the like button is the easiest way to let me know you enjoy the content. Helps with YouTube's algorithm. Let's see if we can get up to 100 likes. We're currently sitting at 63. Couple of ways you can support the content directly. You guys are the sponsors of this channel. If it wasn't for your direct support, I simply wouldn't be able to run this channel the way that I do. And I'm very grateful to be able to do it this way. So consider becoming a channel member. You gain access to exclusive perks, the members lounge, exclusive gameplay streams. You get emojis that you can use in the chat, and you get a membership badge. So please consider doing that. If you are already a channel member, consider gifting memberships. It's a big thing we do here. A lot of people very much appreciate those membership gifts and gaining access to those perks. And like I said, it goes a long way in helping me directly. And then consider donating a super chat. Ask a question, give an opinion, make a statement, anything in between. It helps tremendously. There is a bonus way you can donate directly. There's a link pinned in the chat. 100% of what you donate to that link goes to the content creator. And you can also leave a message just like you would a super chat. And I read it here live on stream. So it's just another bonus way you can help support directly. So thank you guys so much for everything you do for me, this community, the channel. It's awesome. You guys are the best. But with that being said, Devil Shooter says, MBG, let the old MBG Sleeping Within be released, and let's get an epic rant. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if old MBG is coming back, but I definitely have some things I got to say. Okay, we'll see where it goes. Before we do any ranting, though, I want to make sure to cover this information and let you guys know exactly what's going on here. So I have an article from Windows Central, and it's titled Xbox Game Pass is getting major changes with a new tier without day one games and a range of price increases. It says what you need to know. Xbox Game Pass is Microsoft's all-you-can-eat gaming subscription service, incorporating hundreds of games and day one titles for Microsoft's internal studios, including ABK titles like the next Call of Duty. Similarly to Netflix, Spotify, and other services, Microsoft is now increasing the price across all of its existing tiers, including console, Ultimate, and PC. Additionally, new users will not be able to sign up for Xbox Game Pass for console. A new standard tier is coming soon, which will not include day one games, but will include the hundreds strong backed catalog similar to EA Access and Xbox Live Gold for multiplayer. The article continues by saying, 3 things in life are certain: death, taxes, and price increases. Today, Microsoft confirmed to us the details on the long-expected Xbox Game Pass price increase. Sorry, if you see me like checking around, it's because I'm hearing a weird sound that one of my cats is making, and I'm just like making sure they're not destroying anything. So apologies in advance. So yeah, it says the long-expected Xbox Game Pass price increase is well and truly here, but it comes with some major changes. The basic Xbox console tier as well. Xbox Game Pass is Microsoft's Netflix-like all-you-can-eat gaming subscription service and one of its more noteworthy recent gaming innovations. For a monthly fee, players get access to hundreds of games as well as day one titles from Microsoft Studios. That includes games like Starfield from Bethesda, Halo from 343 Industries, but also future games like the next Call of Duty set to launch in the fall. Microsoft rebranded Xbox Live Gold, the paywall for premium multiplayer titles, to Xbox Game Pass Core a short while ago and has done some small price increases over the years. Now we're getting another name change of sorts, as well as a major change to the basic Xbox Game Pass tier, as well as a range of price increases. Soon, Xbox Game Pass for consoles will be shuttered for new users only. Only for new users. Users currently on Xbox Game Pass for console will be allowed to maintain their subscription, as well as day one games and the hundreds of titles in the back catalog. New users on Xbox Game Pass in the near future will be greeted by a new Xbox Game Pass standard This is more like EA Access, which includes Xbox's back catalog and doesn't include day one games. This will be priced at $14.99 US dollars per month and will also include Xbox Live Gold for multiplayer, now known as GamePass Core, confusingly. It doesn't include Xbox xCloud Gaming. GamePass Standard is supposedly launching in September. From September 12th, 2024, Microsoft will only allow users to stack Xbox Game Pass for console users for up to 13 months, using prepaid cards and the like, which will continue to function. If you have more than 13 months stacked already, you will not be impacted. So they're removing the ability to stack beyond 13 months. I think for a lot of people, that's probably annoying, but it is good news that if you already stacked beyond 13 months, you're fine. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will not be changed, but will get a price increase. It will still include PC Game Pass, day one games, and hundreds of back catalog titles, as well as cloud gaming. But it is getting a price increase. The new price will be $19.99 per month. So $20 US dollars per month for Game Pass Ultimate now. PC Game Pass is also getting a price increase from $10 per month to $12 per month. PC Game Pass will also continue to get day one games. Xbox Game Pass Core, Xbox Live Gold Multiplayer gets an annual price increase to $75 from $60, but it will remain $10 a month. The price increases are global. For users with recurring billing, the new prices will take effect on September 12th, 2024, giving you time to cancel if you like. They also mention here Microsoft now has a support page up dedicated to this. Finishes off by saying, according to Microsoft, the vast majority of users today are already on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is their flagship plan for the service. Game Pass Ultimate incorporates all the games on Xbox consoles as well as in the cloud and on PC as well, often with cross-save and cross-progression. Microsoft joins a long list of subscription services like Netflix, Spotify, and others, increasing their prices over recent years. For users who play tons of games, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate more than pays for itself, but for those who don't, Xbox Game Pass increasingly might look like a subscription service worth cutting from their monthly bills to save cash. So that is the full write-up from Windows Central. Credit where it's due. I think they did a good job with this write-up, keeping it pretty concise, because this is pretty confusing. There's a lot changing, and there seems to be a lot of confusion surrounding this. We have Domingo813, longtime member for 49 months. Thank you, Blow. I said blow. Why did I say blow? Because I read the word blowing out of console right now. Thank you, Blow. But Domingo, thank you, bro. You're saying any new member icons? No, not yet. It's something that is in the works. It's not ready to go yet, though, and I'm still messing around with that. So for now you're still gonna have to stick with the final badge that you currently have. Hopefully you're okay with that, Domingo. And we have Josh here. I'm going to read your two chats here. Josh, you're saying, so I just read directly from Microsoft that all you need is a Fire Stick and a PS5 DualSense to access Game Pass and all Xbox games. Dude, that's not competition at all. That is literally blowing out of the console, or bowing out of the console right now. You didn't even say blowing. Bowing out of the console right now. Yeah, we had this conversation yesterday, Josh, like this idea that Microsoft is going to want to make a big comeback in the console space and go all in next generation with the next Xbox console. But, each day it seems like Microsoft is inching closer and closer, and sometimes taking big strides, not inch by inch, but sometimes just like taking big strides towards truly making the Xbox console as irrelevant as they possibly could. Where, listen, I always believe, or I always have believed, and I will continue to believe that the console will always have a place where even if the market shrinks dramatically, there's still going to be people who want to buy the console and just play it that way. There's always going to be those people. But I do think that it becomes problematic with the idea of competition, like you're mentioning here, where it's like, yeah, that's true. There's always going to be people who want to buy consoles. But if you have, somebody else like Sony or Nintendo, where they're actually giving people quite a few different reasons why they might want to consider buying their console, and you're giving users like no actual reason that can seemingly stack up against their reasoning, well, that doesn't create a situation where consoles go away. That creates a situation where your console is going to start fading away specifically. And I do agree that it just seems like the moves that Microsoft is making seem to they seem to not be helping themselves in the console space, but maybe that's because they don't care. Yeah, it's definitely not competition in the console space. We also have Waylark here saying Game Pass on console costing more than PC because online play is free on PC. Console charges for online play will always be stupid. Yeah, I agree with that. I say that as somebody who does like still pay for it. But yeah, I do wish that the paywall for accessing online multiplayer was removed from these consoles, because that is, I've seen people stop by my channel and say like, yeah, I go play multiplayer on PC because I don't have to pay for it. It's like, you hear that, Sony? You hear that, Microsoft? Well, I guess Microsoft doesn't care because Microsoft's also PC, but it's like Sony. Not a good look, man. Not a good look. And we have OK here with a super chat. Thank you, buddy, saying about the Game Pass price hike. First reported here by me. As a Game Pass Ultimate sub, I am not dissuaded by the price hike. Our family finds the value and utility in it. Yeah, that's true, OK. I was actually surprised because I thought it was just like maybe a single region or something. But yeah, you were the first person here at the end of the members lounge yesterday being like, yo, I just got an email that the price of Game Pass is going up for me here, or Game Pass Ultimate. And at the time, I didn't see any reporting on it. So it seemed like Microsoft actually even sent those emails out before they even made the formal announcement. So good on you for that, OK? And there you go. That's the whole thing. You're saying you find value in it, and so you don't mind the price hike. Can't argue with that, man. Like there are too many arguments or conversations that occur online where people try to tell other people like, no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't find value, okay? You hear me? You should cancel it. Like, no, bro. Like let people do what they want to do with their money, If you're finding value in it, then more power to you. And we have the dude coming in, re-upping his membership as well. The dude, thank you so much for that. Welcome back to Greatness Awaits, and I hope you do enjoy your new perks. You just brought us up to 3 members on the day. All 3 of those, or 2 of those, actually, you guys re-upping your memberships there, and 1 from OK. So thank you for that, bud. And Michael Lynch here with the super chat says, 10 minutes behind. I wouldn't pay for Game Pass if it was $5 a year. Xbox doesn't have games I'm interested in. Well, there you go. There you go. I think that that's been a struggle for Microsoft for a long time. And I think that that's part of the reason why they went like scorched earth and bought multiple publishers. They went scorched earth because they're like, people aren't interested in our games enough. Like not enough people are interested in our games. We gotta find a way. And so they broadened their horizons, I guess you could say. They paid for it, but appreciate all the super chats, guys. Thank you. Really appreciate the support. So before I go any further, I want to highlight a tweet. Give me a sec. I actually want to bring this up on screen. I have a couple of things I want to bring up on screen here. Give me just a moment. Sorry, I should have had this set up before I went live, but I got to do it now. Just hang tight for a second, guys. Oh, see, we got a direct donation from PS Gamer here. Hold on. I'm gonna make this. Shit's all over the place. I do have Tom Warren muted. Wait, why is Tom Warren muted? He shouldn't be muted. All right, so Tom Warren put this tweet out. And I thought it was interesting because, a lot of people consider Tom Warren like a, he's from The Verge. A lot of people consider him like a fanboy or whatever, or like a Xbox shiller or whatever. But I mean, he's pointing something out that I've actually, I have to say, like, yeah, this does create some mixed messaging here, and it's worth noting, by the way, this guy below him that says it's not that confusing and lists it out. Tom Warren did respond, and he I mean, I don't know. Again, it's just there's like a lot of toxicity around this specific conversation. But PS Gamer, thank you for the direct donation, buddy. You're saying here, I disagree with not paying for online. It adds value to the experience. PC gaming has lots of cheaters and bugs, and PS3's free online was a mess. If $80 improves the online experience and you get 2 to 3 games per month, I'm all in. Yeah, I can see that side of it as well. I mean, I've never done multiplayer gaming on PC, so I think that's why maybe I can't really speak to it. Like, I don't know if that's true. Like, I'll take your word for it for now. Like, you're saying playing on PC is kind of like there's a lot of cheaters and stuff. I don't know if that's, like, maybe that's true. I don't know if any PC players can back that up. And I wasn't really playing online too much during the PS3 days. I was playing Metal Gear Solid 4 online. And yeah, that was, oh my God, that was atrocious, dude. I don't think that was Sony's fault, though. I think that was Konami's fault. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of these things where I would like to know how much of a difference it's truly making. If Sony could, like, show me what they're doing with the money to, like, improve the experience to potentially justify it, then maybe. But I don't know. It's hard for me to really gauge that. But looking at this tweet from Tom Warren, he says Microsoft's whole play it day one on Game Pass message gets messy now. Xbox Game Pass Core, $10, no day one games. PC Game Pass, $11 day one games. Xbox Game Pass for console, existing subs, $11 / day one games. Xbox Game Pass standard, new only, $15, no day one games. And it is pretty messy, man. Like, I think if as long as you get a good breakdown, it's not too difficult to understand, but it does seem pretty messy. First says, if it's confusing for industry folks, it'll be impossible for regular customers. What do you guys think? Do you think it's too confusing? I wanted to I actually want to highlight something that Zubitech said as well. Hold on. Is this showing up? Yeah, I thought this was kind of interesting. I'm curious what you guys think, if you agree or disagree with Zubitech here. Zubitech says this is insane. How do you go from day one games to no day one games? $240 for not owning a single game. Game Pass is already stagnant. The market is saturated. Game Pass is done. The 36-month stacking limit now dropped down to 13 months. It's over for this service in terms of growth. They won't beat PlayStation Plus subscriber numbers, which has the most in gaming. These Call of Duty gamers are casuals and now have zero reason to spend over 2 times the cost of actually owning the game. The free suggestion is a lie. It is cheaper to buy the game every year than to sub to Game Pass. You'll see a drop-off now even more steep. Game Pass was, is, and will never be sustainable, period. You will have 100%. You will 100% see another price hike within 2 years. What do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree with Zubitech here? It's an interesting evaluation. I would assume that there are definitely people who do disagree, for sure. A lot of you do agree. I mean, yeah, it seems pretty. It seems like a pretty intense, like, declaration, but I don't know, man. There might be some truth to it here. There's only one thing with what he's saying that I'm curious to see if he ends up wrong about it or not. And it is, he says here that like it's over for Game Pass. Like Game Pass is done. There won't be further growth. I'm interested to see if he's right about this, because I've said this before and I'll say it again. Like, this is the Hail Mary pass for Game Pass. You know, the Hail Mary throw is Microsoft taking Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and putting it into Game Pass. And it's a huge risk. Like, it's a huge risk for them, but they're doing it because they have to know. They have to answer the question. Are people going to actually subscribe for Call of Duty or not? I will say, though, like, dude, you would have to be crazy, I think, if you're an avid Call of Duty player, to subscribe to Game Pass to access it. Now, if you're look, here's what I think is going to be interesting. There are quite a few Call of Duty players who only play during the honeymoon period. The honeymoon period is maybe like 1-2 months, right? It's like when the game first comes out and they're really excited about it. They play the campaign, they play some zombies, they play some multiplayer, and then after like a month or so, maybe a month and a half, they kind of fall off and they're like, okay, I'm kind of done playing. I wonder. See, the question for those players is, okay, you don't have to pay $70 to play this game for like a month and a half. You only have to pay $20, right? For 1 month. And then you can unsubscribe. But that's the thing, is like, Microsoft doesn't want that. Microsoft doesn't want people to just subscribe to play Call of Duty for a little bit and then unsub. Microsoft wants people to subscribe and then to stay subscribed. So I don't know. I don't know if this is going to work out the way Microsoft thinks it is. Like, Zubitech, he might be on to something. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know that I feel like I can 100% say Game Pass is done or that there will be no growth. It is true. Game Pass has stagnated completely. Starfield didn't do much for Game Pass. But Call of Duty is not Starfield. And yeah, I mean, $240 not owning a single game. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. I got some shit I want to go over here, though. Let me read these super chats. We have okay here with another super chat saying this emerges from a scarcity mindset. Number one, or no one wants to pay more, but if a few dollar increase is make or break for someone gaming, really get, or for if a few dollars increase is make or break for someone gaming, it really shouldn't be their priority. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's one of these things where I don't think anybody actually knows the answer, right? Like Microsoft doesn't know the answer, Sony doesn't know the answer, I don't know the answer, you don't know the answer. No one knows the answer because the truth is like this is new territory for gaming. Not the subscription services, but the prioritization of the subscription service. And that's exactly what Microsoft has done with Game Pass. That's why they're still, even though they're removing day one games from the standard tier, they are still promising day one games for the ultimate tier. And that's the tier that's going up to $20. But like if that's what you subscribe to Game Pass for, you're still going to get that just for a little bit more money each month. And I get what you're saying, where it's like if you were already very happy with Game Pass, you are unlikely to just leave now that there's a price increase if you're very happy and satisfied with it. But the one reality that Zubitech did point out that is unavoidable is that yes, Game Pass growth has stopped. It is not growing, and neither is PS Plus for that matter. These gaming subscription services have seemingly plateaued. And it's not to say that there can't be future growth. There can be, maybe, but we don't know. And that's why all of this is going to be super interesting to watch play out. Because when we talk about the PlayStation Plus price increase, I said at the time that this just seems clear to me that Sony's just trying to extract as much money out of the subscribers that they have as they can to mitigate the potential loss in subscribers they're going to get, because PS Plus subscribers basically peaked in like 2021, I think, and that was due to like the pandemic. But then the next year, to keep pushing growth, they introduced PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, and then they rode that wave throughout 2023. But at some point, Sony was going to have to face the reality that the numbers are going to start going down. Like you're not going to get to 50 million subs. I think the most PS Plus has ever got to is like 48 million or 49 million, and you're not going to go beyond 50 million subs unless you do something crazy, like put your games day one, which you're not going to do, or start bringing in like major third-party games, like major new releases, which they're not going to do. It's too expensive. So what Sony decided to do was two things. Number one, we're going to stop sharing PS Plus numbers with shareholders. There you go. That tells you all you need to know. Growth is done. It's going to start going down. That's why they're hiding the number. Number two, we're going to increase the price so that way, you know, when the shareholders start asking like what's going on with PS Plus, we don't have to show them the numbers, but we can show them we're making good money. Yeah, that's the brutal nature of the business there. But Microsoft is in a kind of opposite position of Sony, where Microsoft, they want to see growth now because they need to show growth to the investors. In order for Microsoft to justify the commitment that they've made to Game Pass, they're going to need to see growth, like immediately. And that doesn't just come in the form of gaining new subscribers. That's the biggest part of it. But that's also why this price increase is happening, because it's like, look, if we don't gain as many subscribers as we originally thought, thanks to the price increase, we can at least turn to the investors and say, well, hey, we made a lot more money on Game Pass this time, like compared to this time last year. So we're making money. And all the investment is going into Game Pass now, not the console. So we are still seeing the same path being taken by Microsoft here, where they're still all in with Game Pass. It's just a matter of like, are people going to ultimately be okay with this? And I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing internet reactions, and internet reactions are difficult to gauge. Like, I'm glad that I have some like rational people here. Like, OK says he's still subscribed. He's going to stay subscribed because he gets value out of it. I know that there are a lot of people here who aren't subscribed to Game Pass, and I partook in Game Pass last month. By the way, I already know some people are saying, why are you talking about Game Pass? your PlayStation channel. Like, bro, listen, I literally played Hellblade 2 on Game Pass last month. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I could talk about it now, okay? I did unsubscribe, though, because, well, there's nothing on Game Pass I want to play right now. So it's hard to gauge how this is really going to work out based off of hyperbolic internet reactions. But something tells me that, well, I guess it simply boils down to this. Do you believe Call of Duty being put into Game Pass is going to lead to the type of growth Microsoft will need to find in order to justify Game Pass's existence? Is it going to lead to growth? Is it going to lead to sustainability? Or is it just going to produce minimal results like Starfield did? Whereby, when it's all said and done, they're going to look at it and they're going to be like, the needle didn't really move. I really wonder, man. It is too early to say, but the price increase, I don't know, man. Like, is the price increase a mistake? Is it possible that many people who were considering subscribing to Game Pass for Call of Duty are now deciding, oh, never mind? These are the questions that I'm sure Microsoft is also asking themselves. Don't joke about Bloodborne. Read Paul Tassi's article. I do have that up as well. So I'm going to bring this back up on screen in a minute. Let me read this Paul Tassi article. I got a couple more super chats as well. So let me read those first. We have the dude, a member for 14 months. Thank you, buddy, and thank you for re-upping your membership. Saying, I've been saying this over and over. Call of Duty players don't give a fuck about other games. They won't swap to Xbox to pay 3 times more just for Call of Duty. Game Pass is done. Well, you know what's funny that you say that? Like, you see how yesterday during our conversation, I kept saying over and over again, like, Microsoft is going to win no matter what. Like, they're going to win no matter what. This is exactly what I mean. Where you might, like, Game Pass might die in the end. The Xbox console's practically already dead. Or it's slowly dying. Game Pass might die in the end. And even if that happens, they still win. Because it's exactly this. Oh, you don't want to subscribe to Game Pass? Oh, that's unfortunate. Huh. But you will buy our games, right? You see what I mean? It's like, this is why Microsoft paid $70 billion. Microsoft invested $70 billion to ensure that they could have the biggest possible safety net in the gaming industry. And that safety net is not Game Pass. That safety net is not the console. That safety net are the games and the people buying those games. Those games that are guaranteed to sell millions upon millions of copies. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 could do jack shit for Game Pass. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 could move Game Pass by 1%, and it won't matter at all because Microsoft will still make bank. They will still sell the fuck out of Call of Duty. And that's why I think Microsoft is in this kind of awkward position where it's like, are they a third-party publisher? Are they not? Like, listen, Microsoft's not going to be a third-party publisher until they have to be that. I mean, like, without Game Pass, without the platform, without the console, they will not be that until they have to be that. Hold on. Phil Spencer's outside knocking on my door. I'm gonna have to cut the stream. I think something Something went wrong, guys. We have Perfect Image here with the super chat saying Game Pass from Sony and Xbox when you exclude low money people is sad. I guess you're saying like, I guess what you're trying to say is that it's depressing that these price increases from these services, from these companies, it's just making it more and more difficult for people who are struggling financially to even afford them, even though they're supposed to be the better value, if I'm reading that correctly. We have Bossman Davies saying they should have a separate COD tier. Yeah, that would be interesting, but I think the problem with that is it would make things even more confusing than they already were. I think people would be even more perplexed at that point, and you run the risk of just truly like scrambling your messaging to a degree that no one's going to even know what they should do. They won't even know what they want to do because they won't even know what they're looking at. Rich Rod 908 says Xbox wanksters are D3'd. The third? I don't know. Stupid move. MB gangsters. Rich Rod, thank you for your obligatory MB gangsta or Xbox wanksta, whatever. However you want to phrase it. Thank you for your obligatory $2 super chat, Rich Rod. I do appreciate it. Rich Rod, yeah, we know Rich Rod wants to get crazy up in here with these Xbox players. Oh, you're saying, dead. Okay. Yeah, I was a little confused. Like, are you trying to say third? I was reading as like third for some reason. But guys, we have this interesting article from Forbes. The title reads, Microsoft is crippling the concept of Xbox Game Pass with new day one launch restrictions. Blah, 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 blah. I'm only saying that because they're just reiterating like all the changes that were made that we just went over. Says, so your options to get day one launches are $240 a year for Game Pass Ultimate or getting the cheaper PC Game Pass, which directly encourages not buying an Xbox, as even the service is cheaper there. Though again, the vast majority of PC-only gamers are extremely Steam loyal. What is happening here seems clear and is being stated plainly by most analysts. Microsoft is having immense trouble continuing to grow Game Pass at scale, and old ambitions of reaching metrics like 100 million subscribers seem impossibly out of reach. I've talked about the reasons for this as recently as yesterday, but the highlights are console subscriber saturation, limited PC reach, and cloud Game Pass having an extremely limited appeal outside of those already in the Xbox ecosystem, rather than drawing in new gamers. So what do? You raise the price and try to squeeze existing subscribers, though I've seen many now say that $240 a year is a bridge too far. On top of that, the new tier is either A, trying to retain cost-conscious subscribers at the cost of day one releases, which has always been the main selling point of Game Pass, or B, simply trying to shove them into Ultimate, which is the main goal. The central idea of Game Pass has always been to subscribe to Game Pass and get all Xbox games, very simple and something its competition does not offer. But now there are two different tiers of Game Pass that do not have access to first-party day one launches, confusing that message. Yes, it's true that PS Plus has had its own irritating price increases, but PlayStation is not gambling its future on widespread PS Plus adoption like Xbox has done with Game Pass at this point. Now this move feels reflective of the limits of that philosophy and the reality of a market with a very clear ceiling. This is not Netflix. It will never have that reach. That much is clear, even if that was Microsoft's original intention. This is a bad move. A flat price increase would have been one thing, and $240 would have canceled a lot of subs by itself. But what Microsoft is doing is fundamentally watering down the central idea of Game Pass, and it's going to be tough to message its appeal as effectively going forward. And you know what? Paul Tassi wrote up that article, and I agree, Paul. I agree. But you know what? Microsoft doesn't give a fuck because they don't have to give a fuck. Microsoft is laughing, dude. Microsoft is laughing because they know, dude, listen, you want to unsub? You don't want to pay $240 a month? We don't give a shit. We own Call of Duty, bitch. We will do what we want. So when Game Pass dies, if it dies, we still win. I I tried telling people about this. You know, I remember last year and even in 2022 when Microsoft was fighting to buy Activision Blizzard, I told people to relax a little bit. I mean, I wasn't relaxed, but I tried to tell people, like, you got to relax on this notion that Microsoft is your friend, that Microsoft wants to save you money, that Microsoft gives a flying fuck about your wallet outside of just wanting to extract all of the dollars out of it. I tried to warn people of this, that Microsoft is going to try to convince you and everybody else through their marketing and their messaging that they're all about saving you money, and they are not about saving you money. They are about the opposite, just like every other corporation, like Sony, like Nintendo, like Valve, right? Like, they all want as much money from their customers as possible. It's all just a matter of how you go about doing it. And the thing that I didn't like about Microsoft and the way that they handled it is I felt like they were kind of being a little bit ridiculous about it, but it's actually, truthfully, it's not even Microsoft's fault. Microsoft was just doing what any corporation in their position would do, and that is tell people what sounds good. Market this shit. Market it well. So I don't even blame Microsoft for doing what they should do as a company. What I blame are the people who would get angry and upset when other people would try to let them know, like, hey, that's great, but don't sit here and pretend that these corporate executives give a shit about saving you money. That's not what this is about. That's never what this will be about. That's never what it's been about. It never will be about that. Game Pass is not about saving you money. If it was truly about saving you money, this price increase wouldn't have happened. Because think about it. This price increase and the change that they made to Day One games flies directly in the face of their messaging this entire time. Microsoft is slowly but surely undoing the messaging that they've beaten you over the head with, especially the core Xbox fans that they're beaten over the head with it so violently over the years that they can't even think straight anymore. They can't. You want to talk about people who are delusional? Those are the people that are delusional. We're like, listen, I got shit on from Sony saying we're going to charge $70 for our games with the PS5. I got shit on for thinking, okay, you know what? $10. I was already paying $60. And these games seem worth it. So, okay, yeah. And everybody shit on Sony. And then the truth is, like, that was going to become the industry standard no matter what. And it wasn't. I mean, it is out of greed, of course, because it's never enough. There has to be constant growth. There has to be constant profitability. But it was just a situation where it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, these games are getting more, I don't know, expensive. You know, they're getting prettier. There's more going into them. And it's a lot of money. And I totally understand when somebody looks at a $70 game, you're like, that's too fucking much. That's too fucking much. And I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of money. But I have to turn to them and ask, like, do you think that that's not going to persist across the industry? It is going to persist across the industry. It's never going to stop. Like, the prices are not just going to go down. Gaming is not going to get cheaper. It's only going to remain as expensive as it is, or it's going to get more expensive. That's how this works. And I understand that in the moment you think, oh, well, look at Game Pass. It's cheap, right? Or any of these subscription services. It's cheap and I gain access to this and that. It's like, yeah, but I tried telling people, like, in the end, Microsoft needs to make money too, you know? Microsoft needs to make profit too, you know? Microsoft is not a charity, you know? Like, they need to justify their investments. They need to justify the fucking existence of the Xbox brand to begin with. They're not here to extract less money from you. They're here to tell you at first, we'll be okay with getting less money from you, but in the long run, we actually want to get more money from you. It's all about how these corporations go about messaging it and dealing with it. Whether they want the money up front and then you gain access, or whether they'll take less money up front, give you access, get more from you later. It's all a means to an end here. And the means to an end, that end is just more money, profitability, and growth. And the game industry fundamentally has not, Microsoft has not changed the games industry fundamentally. They haven't. Microsoft hasn't changed the way games are developed. They haven't found cheaper ways to produce games. They're not immune to the cost of these expensive games that they're trying to, these AAA games. They're not immune to any of this. They are in the exact same industry, in the exact same position that all of these other companies are. It's just Microsoft, like I said, they decided to leverage something that all these other companies don't have, and that is trillions of dollars of worth that they can throw around. But I tried to tell people, Microsoft is not throwing around $70 billion to benefit you. It's to benefit them. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you're going to realize that it's not even a bad thing. I'm not saying Microsoft bad. What I'm saying is Microsoft Corporation, Sony Corporation. Corporations are going to corporate, right? They're going to get money from you. Now, if they push it too far, too quickly, yeah. If they take it too far too fast, you risk losing your customers. If you get too greedy too quick, you risk losing your customers. So it's about finding a balance of, again, like, we want money from you and we need to, like, we can't hide that. Like, I tried to tell people, man, like, Microsoft's not going to be able to hide it forever. No, Mrs. MBG was just asking me something about if one of the cats was in here. I tried telling people that Microsoft is not going to be able to play nice guy forever, because at some point the truth is going to have to come out that they want to make money. I tried telling people this, and I just always thought it was a silly look for so many people out there to just constantly rally around the marketing points that Microsoft would constantly put out there. And again, I know from their perspective why they're doing it, but it was always silly to me to see people acting like Microsoft's giving me the better deal and the better value. And like, listen, I'm not here to say you're not getting a good deal. I'm not here to say that. And I think that this is where the confusion lies. People get mad at me because they think that I'm saying Game Pass is a bad deal, or because I'm going to tell you you shouldn't subscribe to Game Pass because it's bad. I haven't said that, and I'm not saying that. I've only ever spoken for myself. I've only ever let you know why I'm not subscribed to Game Pass. It is not my place to determine whether or not you are getting a good deal out of Game Pass. The market will determine that. The market will determine that, not me. And the market has determined that not enough people are getting a good deal out of Game Pass. Not as many people as Microsoft needs to get a good deal from them. And I am just here to remind people that price increases and billion and trillion dollar corporations wanting to find ways to get more money from their customers is nothing new. It will always be that way. It has always been that way. And this is, honestly, if you look at what's going on right now in 2024, every company is feeling the squeeze, so to speak. Every company is under more pressure for growth. And that's where the greed comes in. Shouldn't it be good enough that Sony is a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate? Shouldn't it be good enough that Microsoft is a multi-trillion-dollar corporation that's like basically running parts of the world? Shouldn't that be good enough? No, that's not good enough. The only thing that's ever good enough is constant, perpetual growth that doesn't stop. That's it. That's the only thing that will be good enough. And it actually doesn't even make any sense. It's an oxymoron, because that is the opposite of something being good enough. It's not enough. It's good, but it's not enough. And I just think that, seeing people constantly have these arguments, well, this is better than that, and that's better than this. And it's like, listen, man, you're not going to change anybody's mind. If so, like I've seen people say that they think PlayStation Plus Extra is a better deal than Game Pass. Even today, somebody said I wouldn't subscribe to Game Pass if it was $5 a month because I'm not interested in Microsoft's games. People are mixing too many subjective points with not enough objective points, and it creates this insane dialogue that just totally scrambles people's brains because there's too many people out there on the internet that can't think for themselves or aren't bright enough to like see the bigger picture. So I just hope that people realize when we look at Sony and so, like, because I talked about it and I'm about to show you when Sony increased the price of PlayStation Plus, I freaked out on them because I'm like, Sony, your greed is showing. You're not doing it, like you're not even trying to hide it. Your greed is showing, and no one wants to see that shit. I get it. You're a corporation. You got to make money from me and from everybody else. But come on, bro, cover that shit up. You know, no one wants to see it. They basically like flashed everybody. They didn't give a fuck. And I called him out for that because I'm like, this is not a good look, Sony. It's not a good look. And I remember saying when Sony did increase the price of PlayStation Plus, like they should get better games. And I don't know if they have. I don't know that they have. So it's just blatant greed of like, we want to squeeze you for more money. And it's not different here. It's not different here. It's the same exact thing where sure, a person can defend Microsoft by saying, well, at least if I'm paying $20 for Game Pass a month, I'm still getting day one games. And you're right. You're absolutely right. But it doesn't change the fact that Microsoft can absolutely afford to not increase the price of Game Pass. I would love to hear somebody explain to me why Microsoft can't afford to do that. They can, but they won't. Because the name of the game is profitability and sustainability and perpetual growth. And no amount of cheerleading, no amount of defending, no amount of anything is going to change that. Keep your eyes on the fucking prize. You keep your eyes on the prize, you won't lose sight of what's most important here to these companies. It's not your prize, by the way, necessarily. That's the awkward part. Keep your eyes on the prize. The prize in our case should be what are we getting out of this, you know? And is it worth it? And that's subjective, man. All right. We have OK here saying, anecdotally, I know of a number of families that now use Game Pass for cloud games for their kids and prefer sub services than buying games as they're used to subs for movies and music. Yes, that's true as well. And that's why I'm curious to see in the next 5 to 8 years. I mean, God knows what's going to happen in the next 5 to 8 years, you know, around the world. But, you know, when it comes to gaming, I'm really interested to see what happens to these subscription services because I think, truthfully, I think Microsoft was a little bit surprised that Game Pass stagnated as quickly as it did. And I think even Sony was a little bit like, we were right? And maybe not like that, but like Sony definitely was not diving in with the subscription. They were like, listen, we're going to let Microsoft fuck around and find out, and we'll watch from a distance. And they did. And Sony looks not necessarily, I don't want to say it looks smart for it, but you could just, they're basically somewhat vindicated where it's like, yeah, Microsoft is out here paying $70 billion to acquire publishers to give you games like Call of Duty and Game Pass. Like, we can't do that. We would go under if we tried to do that. We just got to keep selling our games. That's what we got to do. It's worked up until this point. We're hopeful it'll keep working. And it is. For now, it's still working. Microsoft is in this like truly awkward position where they've conditioned their customers to not necessarily pay for games all the time or to anticipate you might not have to pay for games while simultaneously like needing more money, you know, and hope and realizing that we're not getting more money from our subscription service like we thought we would. But it is true though that movies and music, subscription services have found a way to I don't know if we can use the word thrive, because I think these subscription services are actually all struggling a little bit. Like they all struggle with profitability, it seems, and because of that, their sustainability is now in question. And all of these companies are kind of scrambling where it's like, oh shit, we need to make money now, and they're finding it difficult to make money. And that's why the prices are going up. That's why these things are changing. And I don't blame Microsoft for like throwing a Hail Mary into the subscription service, because they probably looked around and are like, nobody else is doing this. We could be the first there. I get it. And maybe it's too soon. Maybe in the end, the subscription service will prevail and will be the most common way people engage with games. But it could be another one of those situations where, timing is everything. Maybe Microsoft was too soon. It reminds me of Sony with cloud gaming, with Gaikai, right? Like they announced this like back during the beginning of the PS4, and like no one cared. Like it just like wasn't a thing. Like it was like way ahead of its time. But people just weren't ready for it. Like people were like, "What? Who wants this?" Turns out nobody. And to be fair, we're still not there with cloud gaming. But you could tell like in the future we're gonna get there. But the timing is everything. Even Google couldn't do it. We have Waylark saying, MBG, did you see Sony and Power World joining forces and creating Power World Entertainment? They're going after Nintendo and Pokemon. Yeah, I saw that. What a weird turn of events. To me, the most awkward part of that announcement is the fact that Power World is still not playable on PS5. It's still not playable on PS5. Now, of course, the PS5 version is going to have to happen now, right? Now that Sony's directly involved. But I did see that, yeah, and it seems like Sony's pretty serious about looking at Power World Entertainment and thinking this could be the next Pokemon, like our own Pokemon. Like, how Nintendo doesn't own Pokemon. Nintendo owns like 32% of Pokemon. So they're like they're a partial owner of it. And because of that, they're synonymous with Pokemon. I think Sony's trying to get in on the ground level. With this to maybe, see if was this just like a lightning in a bottle thing, flash in the pan type situation, or is this going to be maybe the next Pokemon? So we're going to see what happens with that. I didn't want to cover that yet because I'm waiting to see if more information comes out about it. Feels like it was just kind of randomly dropped, and I'm like, okay, so now you announced the PS5 version. Not that I really want to play it. I don't know if I care that much, but like it's just awkward where it's like, wait, this game is only available on the Xbox console, but Sony has struck a partnership with the company that makes the game. What's going on here? What's going on? We have Rich Rod 908. Oh man, saying welfare check on Colt Eastwood chump Xbox wanksta. God damn, dude. Rich Rod is not playing right now. Rich Rod is calling people out. He's about to start fist fighting somebody. Calm down, Rich Rod. Calm down. It's all about peace and love here, bro. All right? Like, there's some haters out there, but we got to love the haters. Got to send love their way. They're missing love. They're missing peace in their life. They need it. They need it. Find peace in your heart, Rich Rod. Yeah, it's Sony Music, too, as well. That's the weirdest thing. It's Sony Music that is doing this partnership with Power World Entertainment. We have Josh here saying, I disagree with your notion that Microsoft can't lose because they paid to win. I can go buy the three best restaurants in the world right now, but don't have chefs to cook. Still need to have competence with these IPs and devs. Yeah, you know what? I do agree. I think I'm missing something here, or a portion of what I'm trying to say. And you also say this is by far Microsoft's weakest era by a long shot. Yeah, so Microsoft paid to win. All right, maybe it's not. Maybe pay to win isn't the right way to word it. Microsoft paid for a very large safety net and a chance. And it seems like, oh wow, that's a huge safety net, man. That's like the biggest safety net I've ever seen, and that's a big chance. So, it's right there. Yeah, it's right. Just dunk it in. It's right there. Don't screw it up. But it's not that simple, because it's true. Like Call of Duty could be destroyed underneath Microsoft. I'm not saying that will happen, but it could. And you're a fool if you think that's not possible. I think you're a fool if you think that's not possible. Because if you don't think Microsoft can destroy Call of Duty, you have not been paying attention to Microsoft in gaming at all. They can absolutely do it. Activision could have destroyed Call of Duty, by the way. Their streak, I'm shocked. Like, I am shocked that Activision didn't already destroy Call of Duty. Because I'm like, holy shit, this is like the biggest kill streak ever in gaming. 20 plus years and you're still winning? How? It's like the Tom Brady of gaming. But at some point, like, it's going to be over. At some point, it's going to end. And I'm not saying that means it's going to fail. Like, it doesn't have to end poorly. I just mean, like, Call of Duty eventually will not be the behemoth that it is now. It's just the way things go. But the question is, what will be the reason? Will it be because it's just naturally, it's went on for so long and it just slowed down? It just eventually slowed down and it has a steady player base, but it's not as anywhere near as big as it once was. It peaked a long time ago. Or is it going to be because Microsoft essentially didn't know how to manage it? They didn't know how to keep the ball in the air. And, you're talking about the same company here that just destroyed Halo, man. Like, I'm not saying that they're going to do that. It's just, you got to be aware that Microsoft has nothing to do with the creation. They've had nothing to do with the creation and the management of Call of Duty. They've had nothing to do with it. So Microsoft is at the mercy of the people who are there right now. The people who have been there managing it now. And it's like, listen, just do what you do. But the real question is, when those people are gone, Bobby Kodak's gone now. Eventually, Phil Spencer's going to be gone. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. You're saying, who cares? What's your point? The point is, Microsoft didn't pay for a guaranteed win. They paid for, well, if we're looking at it like because it's not just one win. Microsoft paid for some wins. They're going to get some wins. Like Black Ops 6 is going to be a win for them. Next year's Call of Duty is going to be a win. Probably the Call of Duty after that. Like, Call of Duty's not just going to like nosedive overnight. Microsoft has time. See, Lure Cannon, I don't agree with that. You're saying Call of Duty can't fail. That's not true. It can. Trust me, it can. No game is immune to failure. No game, no development. Just like Sony's games, dude. Like, you're saying we've had so many bad Call of Duties. Listen, I agree there have been some low points for Call of Duty, and even in their low points, they still did very well. But the thing that Call of Duty, in my opinion, has yet to experience, and this is where things can go wrong, but this is where I'm saying, like, man, you'd have to have the worst luck in the world, right? You'd have to have some pretty bad luck. You'd have to be cursed. What would have to happen for Call of Duty to fail is successive, huge, like, mistakes with each game. Like, it would be like, imagine if like at some point you get what's considered like the worst Call of Duty? Isn't like Call of Duty Ghosts or something considered the worst Call of Duty? Or is there one that's even worse than that? Or like Infinite Warfare? It'd be like putting out another game like Call of Duty that is like as bad as Infinite Warfare. And then the next year having something even worse, having something that people are even less excited about. And then the next year somehow having an even more underwhelming game. The thing that Call of Duty has done a good job avoiding, and this is due to Activision's management and understanding, anytime they had a game that didn't do as well, they immediately course corrected. And they did so by basically taking a safe bet. Whether it's, we got to go back to Modern Warfare. We got to keep, we like, oh my God, did you see like how poorly Infinite Warfare did? Oh, thank God we have another Black Ops game coming out next year. But like eventually the Modern Warfare name, the Black Ops name, like eventually these things are going to get, they're going to die, not die out, but they're going to get run into the ground eventually. They just blew through 3 new Modern Warfare games. And they're probably going to do a 4th and a 5th. But at some point, dude, the Black Ops name, the Modern Warfare name, they're going to lose their weight. You're already at a point, by the way, with Call of Duties these days where, like, dude, Modern Warfare 3, every map that shipped with it for multiplayer, Modern Warfare 2 remaster or remake. They were all Modern Warfare 2 maps. Like, they're running out, dude. It is finite. It is finite. But that's where that's where Microsoft will truly be tested. When you hit that wall, when Microsoft hits that wall with Call of Duty, where it's like, all right, we're at like Modern Warfare 7, and the last Black Ops game really was struggling. What do we do now? That's where you're going to have to actually innovate with Call of Duty, and they might do it. I mean, who knows? It could be totally different leadership at that time. But I'm just saying, like, you can't expect the things that have been working this whole time to just work forever. And as soon as somebody like falls on that, that's usually when they fuck up. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's another one of these situations where it's like, who knows? And Joshua Reese comes in and drops a single membership gift, and Devil Shooter was the one who got the gift there. So good shit, Josh. Thank you for that, bud. That brings us up to 4 members on the day. Appreciate the continued support, guys. You have your whales carry you. I mean, I guess, yeah. Like, to be clear, Call of Duty's not going to die. Like, Call of Duty as a brand, I agree with that. Like, if you say Call of Duty as a brand is never going to die, I agree. That brand will exist forever. I'm just saying this streak that they have where it's like it seems like they can't fail. I don't agree with that. Like, I think failure will eventually happen with Call of Duty, but it's going to be kind of comical when it does, because it's like, oh my God, this year's Call of Duty only sold 8 million copies. You know what I mean? It's like, 8 million, that's pretty good. Like, for Call of Duty, that's terrible. For Call of Duty, that would be disastrous. But for like every other game, that would be like holy shit, we just sold 8 million copies. JMR77, you're saying, MBG, I saw on Twitter people were blaming you for console warring over just speaking facts. Yeah, dude, I know, man. These people just fucking cry. They cry. If I even look in the direction of Xbox, they cry. And it's pathetic. Like, the only argument they can keep bringing my way is you're a PlayStation fanboy, you're a PlayStation fanboy. I'm like, okay, but are you listening to what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, what am I saying that's so crazy? What am I saying that's so crazy? I mean, maybe the craziest thing I said is that Call of Duty might fail in the future. Maybe that's the craziest thing. It's funny though, man. Like, I'm going to talk about that in a moment, because I got to show you guys some funny shit. We have Cypherpunk here saying Xbots are delusional, but we are crazy, even wasting 1 minute of our day talking about them. LOL. That's absolutely true, man. That's absolutely true. You know, you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. Sometimes I think I'm part of the problem. All right, we have Planet Schlorpian saying Microsoft is a I know you meant to say multi-trillion-dollar shit sandwich. I mean, look, man, again, as I said earlier, I'm not opposed to Microsoft being a corporation and doing what corporations do. I'm not, and you know what the funny thing is? Like, dude, at no point over the course of the stream have I said anything along the lines of Sony's doing this better than Microsoft or Microsoft is bad and Sony's good. No, like they're both bad here. Like when it comes to the subscription services, both Sony and Microsoft suck. They both suck because it's just well, in my opinion, subscription services suck flat out. Like if you enjoy them, I'm just speaking for me. I don't care about subscription services. Maybe in the future I will, but right now I don't want anything to do with them. But I do just think that right now we are seeing two corporations that are basically freaking out because, well, the economy's in the shit and the numbers are starting to go down a little bit. The numbers are starting to dip and they're both basically panicking, being like, we need to fucking like do something and keep making more money. And it's like, listen, I get it. Everybody's doing it. But you know what? Fuck corporate, dude. That's what I say. Fuck them all. Like, oh my God. The billion-dollar corporation is losing some money. Holy shit. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not saying I want to see you guys die or be in a dire position, but I know you're not. That's what bothers me about this in general. Is like, that's why I just can't talk about. That's why when I buy a game, like, I'm only going to buy a game if I really feel like you guys are, like, this game's going to be really good. You know? And if I have any hesitation that this game might be not as good as I want it to be, or as I think it's going to be, or as I would like it to be, right? I don't know about that, man, because $70 is a lot for a game. It is. And I pay for all my games. I don't get handed codes or anything like that. I pay for my games. And so I only feel comfortable buying games that I feel are really going to be worth it. And I guess what makes it different for me and why it's so easy for me not to care about subscription services is because I still buy my games physically and I like to feel like I have some kind of ownership over them. And if in the future I ever want to sell those games, I have the ability to do that. Like I can make some money back if I want to do that, or if I want to give them to somebody, you know? So, that bleeds into the whole conversation of physical versus digital, which I'm not getting into. But it just is stupid, man, that like we are seeing a lot of course correction happening because these companies, when the money was flowing, dude, in 2020, in 2021, and 2022, the fucking money was flowing. And it was flowing rapidly. And the the shit's coming crashing down, man, where it's like suddenly growth isn't around the corner anymore. And I do believe in capitalism, but I also believe that there are some weaknesses when you get to the end stage. And I think that we are seeing that, where it's like, I am not, as just a random person here, also trying to make a living, going to fucking feel bad about any corporate executive who works for Sony or works for Microsoft and has to turn to the shareholders, because it's not my job, it's not my obligation, and say, we're losing subscribers and we might lose some money and you might not be as rich as you were hoping you would be. So we're going to try to get more money from these guys. I'm not going to like cheer that on and defend that. Like, no, fuck that. If what you're asking from me, like you want more money from me, if what you're giving me in return feels worth it, maybe. But I don't know, man. I've seriously considered, like, I don't know that I'm going to, but I've thought about it. I'm like, should I go do multiplayer gaming on PC? I might fuck it. I might try it, dude. Because that's what I'm saying. Like Sony and like they want $80 a year from me, and the thing is I hardly use PlayStation Plus. Like that's the thing. I hardly use PlayStation Plus. I hardly play any games from it, and I'm just like, it really has gotten to a point where the only reason I pay for this is for the multiplayer. And I would be interested, like, I don't know though. I'm not a PC gamer though. It would take a lot, man. Because I want to save that $80. Not because, listen, it's not because the $80 itself, like I can afford the $80. It's the principle that bothers me at times, where it's like, I really don't like the fact that Sony did just raise the price of PS Plus and just like did nothing. They just did nothing. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, this feels kind of shit to me. And they just kind of were like, yep. But then again, I don't know. I saw like PS Plus Extra is getting like Remnant 2, and I'm like, all right, Jackbox Party Pack 9. So I love those games. Like, oh, okay, all right. I don't know, man. It's awkward for me to just see what's happening so clearly, where it's like, man, you guys, like, corporations suck balls, dude. Like, they really do. Like, I've always known that when it comes to corporations, it is about greed. I've always known that. I think everybody's always known that. But what I can't stand is when it's just like in front of you on display. Like, they just don't give a shit, dude. Where they're in like, look, we're trying to grow and we're in panic mode. We gotta do what we gotta do. And it's just like, fuck you, And that's why you can't believe anything these corporations tell you. That's why you can't believe a fucking thing they tell you, whether it's Sony or Microsoft. Like, you can't believe what they tell you because it's only temporarily true. It's only temporarily true. And that's why I've tried to tell people, expect anything at this point, man. The shit's hitting the fan. The shit is hitting the fan. I'm not trying to be doomer here. I'm just saying, like, the shit is hitting the fan in the sense that greedy people are panicking because their greed is being mitigated now. It's being halted. It's being forcefully halted. So greedy people are panicking, and when greedy people panic, well, shit gets ugly, That's the truth. That's the truth, man. I don't want it to be this way. IP Gaming says Hawk to a girl gets famous. America in a nutshell. I don't know what's going on here anymore, man. I don't even go outside no more, bro. I just do my own thing, I don't go outside. I'm afraid I'm going to be interviewed by somebody with a microphone, and I'm going to end up saying something, and I become a viral sensation. And before I know it, my entire life is defined by a single thing I said that I'll forever be remembered for. Maybe I already did that. Maybe I already did that here on YouTube. It's the American dream, baby. Oh. It's too hot to go outside. I agree. Yeah, it is too hot. I still have more rant. That wasn't even the rant that I originally wanted to go on. Capono says, I keep telling you, we truly do live in a clown world. You gotta love the clowns, man. I'm trying to push for this. I'm trying to push for peace and love, man. I am. While I rant, like in the end, like once I get the rant out, it's like I want to push like everybody just spit on that mic. Love thy enemy. Right? All right. Lore Cannon, member for 12 months, says, I just bought 2 to 3 years worth of Game Pass Ultimate on eBay for $720 for a family of 4 since I only need 2 memberships and 4 Xboxes with family share. Boom. Lore Cannon's making it happen, bro. Oh, you're saying 2 times 3 years. Okay. Well, dude, you're covered. You're covered, bro. Lord Cannon got on that real quick. Real quick. We also have OK saying, taking a family of 4 to the movies twice costs $240. The number of hours of entertainment a family can get from a year of Game Pass is exponentially greater, dollars to hour. Yeah, that, I haven't been to the movies in a long time. The next time I'm going to the movie theater is for Deadpool and Wolverine, but like, I believe that, man. I like the last few times, and it's been a while, but the last few times I went to the movies, I remember it was so expensive. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I do believe you're paying for the experience as well. I do believe that. Like, you are paying for the experience when you go to the movie theater. But it has gotten to a point where it's like, this is getting kind of crazy. You know? Because if what you're saying is true, okay, you're saying a family of 4 to the movies twice, $240, not worth it. Not worth it at all, man. Like, maybe like one time, like once a year or something, maybe. That's nuts. And I do agree. At that point, if you're trying to weigh out, like, should I subscribe to a gaming service or go to the movies a couple times a year with my family, subscribe to the gaming service. If people are gaming in your family, absolutely subscribe to the gaming service. Because, like, yeah, that, to me, that is a better value. You know how much root beer I can buy for $240? Dude, that's what I'm saying. Rich Rod 908 saying Xbox asking, or Xbis King comparing PS accessories to Xbox consoles. LMAO. I don't even know who that is. That a person? Xbox is king. Okay. Damn, Xbox is king getting called out in the chat by Rich Rod. Rich Rod's gonna fight you. Xbox is king. I'm out here saying love thy enemy, and Rich Rod's out here like, yo, I want to suplex somebody. I'm just kidding. Like, Rich Rod didn't say that, but it's just the energy I get from him. It's the vibe I'm getting. Rich Rod wants to suplex somebody. We have money here with the super chat saying game subscriptions isn't for you because you don't play a lot of games and only play certain types of games, or you don't have a big family that games. Yeah, that's true. I mean, my family members do game, but I think a lot of my family members game in a similar fashion that I do, where I don't play a ton of games a year. Like, I don't know how many games a year on average I play, but it's probably, like, I'm not playing like some crazy number. Like, I played 25 to 30 new games, which to somebody out there, that might not be a crazy number. Somebody might be like, 25 to 30 new games is not a lot. To me, that's a fuck ton. Like, I could not play like 25 to 30 games even if I tried. I couldn't do it because I would have to go, at that point, I would start playing games that I don't even know if I would actually like. So if I had that like itch to just constantly move to something new and constantly roll over to something fresh, I mean, like on a weekly or daily basis, yeah, a subscription service probably would be for me, but I gotta get off Dead by Daylight sometime. Hey, I haven't been playing it nearly as much. Okay. Where's the rant? It's coming. It's coming. And OK says, I buy my PlayStation games on Steam and use Game Pass for variety. Well, there you go. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, it's also awkward when having these conversations because everybody has, everybody's financial situation is different. And I'm not saying that if you have a lot of money, you don't know the value of a dollar. That's not true at all. Like, in fact, a lot of people, like most people who have a lot of money, absolutely know the value of a dollar. Just in the same way that somebody who doesn't have a lot of money may also know the value of a dollar. It's just a matter of like, for a lot of people, I think you're in that position where it's like, I can see, it makes it easier to see the value knowing I can afford it. Does that make sense? Like, when you know you can afford it, the value almost, it becomes, it's not that you can't see the downsides to it. It's just maybe the downsides, they just don't seem as bad or as problematic. And I think for a lot of people, it is just that. And I feel like it's the exact opposite. It's just like human psychology. Like if you are tighter on money, you're going to weigh the pros and the cons, and the cons might stand out to you a lot more. Where you could definitely see like, oh, that could be worth the money, but I don't know, man. Like there's just a little too much going against it that I don't think I can pull the trigger on this one. But I do have a little bit of ranting I want to go on here. We'll see how intense it gets, but I'm heading over to my Twitter account here. Okay, let me condense this a little bit more. So I put this out, dude. This right here ruffled some fucking feathers. I said, remember that time Microsoft told regulators and us that they wouldn't raise the price of Game Pass after they acquired Activision Blizzard? Turns out they lied. What a shocker. Now, if you look to the right of this tweet, Microsoft insists Game Pass prices will not increase as a result of the Activision merger. It says the price rise would be counterproductive as it would increase subscriber churn rates. Microsoft has sought to dismiss suggestions that it could raise Xbox Game Pass prices should its $69 billion merger with Activision Blizzard be approved. This was back in March of 2023. And then on the left here, we have the announcement that the prices are going up. And I want it to be known. I want to fucking highlight this to everybody because it's comical to me. It's comical. And it's not that I expect any different, but it's just, wow. I hope people can kind of see what's going on here. If you look at these replies, there's 218 replies, which is actually a lot lower than I would expect. A lot of people are telling me that I am wrong. And the reason I am wrong is because Microsoft didn't actually lie. Well, damn. Okay. Well, what do you mean? It seems pretty clear to me they did lie. And you know what they say? Keep in mind, these people are not paid by Microsoft. As far as I'm aware. I mean, maybe they could be. As far as I'm aware, these people are not paid by Microsoft. They're not hired lawyers to work on Microsoft's behalf. They're not working for the marketing team. At least I don't think they are. People are telling me it's not a lie because Microsoft did not say that they raised the price because of the Activision Blizzard merger. They never said that. MBG. I'm talking to myself in the camera right now. I'm talking to you guys. What? Whoa, holy shit. MBGception here. MBG, you cannot prove that Microsoft raised the price of Game Pass because of the Activision Blizzard merger. You can't prove that. You're right. I can't prove that. But what I can do is I can turn to everybody and say, I sure hope you're not dumb enough to think otherwise, to believe otherwise. I sure hope you're not dumb enough to give Microsoft, a multi-trillion-dollar corporation who just fought for their fucking life to make the biggest merger in their history. I hope you're not dumb enough to give them the benefit of the doubt over me, but they will. That's the thing, is they absolutely will. They will say, nope, you can't prove it, MBG. So you're fucking wrong. But luckily, most people are intelligent enough to understand what I'm pointing out here. What I am pointing out is that regulatory bodies whose job is to make sure corporations' power does not go unchecked, because we don't want a world like truly run by corporations. At least I don't think we do. I mean, that'd be a fucking... I don't know, though. At this point, shit's so bad, who even cares? But regulatory bodies that were trying to stop the acquisition from going through out of fears of potential monopolization and it just being too big of a merger, Microsoft gaining too much power at one time. The point is, they said that this is something you could do as a result of the merger. And just because Microsoft did it, but didn't say, oh, yeah, we did it because of the activity. Microsoft didn't say why they did it. But are we really going to pretend we don't know why they did it? Are we really going to do that? I mean, I could do that. Oh yeah, they did it because of inflation, bro. Everybody else is doing it. Sony did it and they didn't even acquire anybody. What does Sony have to do with this? Like, that's another thing people were bringing up. Or so like, Sony fucking did this and they didn't even give you shit. I know, I was there. I fucking bitched about it. I went nuts over it. But what does that have to do with this? What does that have to do with this situation? It has nothing to do with it. Because all I'm telling you is that Microsoft lied. Because they did. It's like regulator says you're going to raise the price of GamePass if you acquire Activision Blizzard. Microsoft says, no, we won't. Microsoft gets Activision Blizzard. Flash forward 6, 7, 8 months, however long it's been, we're going to raise the price of Game Pass right before the new Call of Duty drops, by the way. And people would still rather attack me and shit on me for calling that out than they would actually just turning and being like, yeah, that's pretty shitty. Don't worry about what Microsoft's doing, bro. Look at what Sony did. They increased the price of PlayStation Plus. Yeah, I know. I was here. You want to see what I had to say about Sony increasing the price of PlayStation Plus, by the way? Hopefully it'll show up. Oh, hold on. Well, all right. Hopefully you could see this. I'll read it to you. This is a tweet that I put out. Okay? Right here. Fuck it. I'm just going to have to show you the whole thing. Oh my God. Why won't it let me expand it? It's ruining my flow here, man. God damn it. I'll just read it to you. You just have to go check my Twitter, okay? I put this tweet out August 30th, 2023. Got 156,000 views. I quote tweeted Wario64, August 30th, 2023. PlayStation Plus prices increased. And then he lists the increases and the blog post. I said competition. Starfield hype, as in Microsoft. Starfield hype is at an all-time high, and this is going to be our biggest launch ever on Game Pass. Jim Ryan, we should increase the price of PlayStation Plus significantly because money. In other words, I was shitting on Sony. Oh, man. Wait, this can't be MBG. You didn't shit on Sony. You didn't shit on Sony because you never shit on Sony. You only shit on Xbox. You only call out shit on Xbox. I know you can't see what this is. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this. It's like broken. It won't let me, oh, here we go. Here we go. Hold on. Hold on. We're getting there. We're doing it. The truth is exposed. Here's the stream I did, by the way. 3 hours and 46 minutes. Almost 4 fucking hours. What is Sony doing? Big PlayStation Plus price increase hidden in blog posts with no explanation? Uh-oh. You're saying, bro, chill out. Who cares about these people? I know. It's for fucking entertainment value, bro. But come on. This is what I'm saying. You can't say that about Microsoft because you're the fanboy. You only defend Sony. Like, okay, then please explain this. Well, this is the only time. No, it's not. I have so many other fucking examples where I absolutely aggressively shit on Sony. These dumb fucks won't show you that. They won't show you that because if they showed you that, their entire fucking premise of why they're trying to court you to watch their content is gone. We can't show MBG being critical towards Sony because that way when he's critical towards Microsoft, he'll look like he's, I don't know, being kind of fair. He might be keeping some of that same energy. Oh, shit. But for fuck's sake, man, all these people out here trying so desperately to defend Microsoft. I'm not telling you to unsubscribe from GamePass. You dumb fucks. I'm not telling you that. I know your feelings are hurt. I know your soul is hurting because it turns out the truth is Microsoft is also a fucking corporation that has no soul and wants money from you. And you can, guess what? You know what? Here you go. If you're that hurt about it, you can still say, well, at least we're getting day one games. You're goddamn right. You can say that. PlayStation players can't say that. Why are you so mad? Why are you so upset? Why are you so upset that Microsoft is trying to get more money from you? Why? Why are you so upset that I'm pointing out that Microsoft lied? Why does it upset you to find out that corporations lie? Why does it upset people? I don't get it, man. Like, if anything, at this point, I'm on your side. Like, we're on the same side here, bro. Like, I'm not trying to spend more money in gaming than I have to. Like, I don't want games to be $90. I don't want subscription services to turn out to be $350 a fucking year. Nobody wants that shit. Why am I not wearing pants? How funny would it be if I was just sitting here in my fucking underwear just screaming? JMR says this rant's giving me energy. Oh, man. I mean, I'm obviously having fun with it. It's not this serious. It's never this serious. Like, it's just, come on. At some point, we gotta know that it's, if you subscribe to Game Pass, it's fine. Most people don't give a shit. Devil Shooter says, we wouldn't know. I will say, the only thing that really does get under my skin in all seriousness, although I don't even know that I should say it gets under my skin as much as it's just, like, right here, look. This is what I'm talking about. This person right here, Reaver, I don't even know who the fuck this is. I don't even know who this is. But they put this out. They take a screenshot of what I said. And it gets almost 50,000 views. It gets almost 50,000 views, right? And this person says, remember that time PlayStation raised the price of PS Plus and gave you nothing in return? Some may argue it got worse. You won't see these ponies bring that up. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, do you see why it's like, you could call me a pony. That's fine. You could call me a fanboy. That's fine. How the fuck are you going to sit here? Now you're the liar. Not only is Microsoft a liar, just like Sony's a liar, because these are corporations that lie to you and me because they're corporate, but now you're a liar. You're saying something that's actually false. So let me get this straight. I'm supposed to believe the person lying about the person who didn't lie, who's actually trying to point out the lies. What is going on here? What the fuck is happening here? And that's why I had to quote tweet this fucker and let him know, like, dude, I was there. I was here. Does anybody care? Does anybody care, though? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Because it's Twitter. And Twitter's not real life. I'm glad some people are. See, this is good though. People are seeing. It's like bullshit, dude. So check this shit out. This is where things get fucking. This is where things get really hairy. Hold on. Let's go see. So this guy here, this guy was pretty reasonable. See, I want to highlight this because this is where he wasn't being like an asshole. Jeremy G wasn't being an asshole. Okay? And we had a bit of a back and forth here. But in the end, I think we came to a good compromise. Because you know what? Here's the thing. Obviously, I can highlight... Hold on. Hold on, guys. Be right back. Sorry about that. I had to let boss in. He was freaking out at the door. I guess he heard me like yelling and stuff, and he was like scratching at the door like a maniac. Boss, you good, bro? Look, I highlight all the shittiness on Twitter, and I just want this to serve as proof that like it doesn't always have to be shitty. All right. So this guy said in response. He says, remember that time PlayStation increased the price of PlayStation Plus without making any acquisitions? Yeah, Microsoft can/will cite that as their reasoning. So you should blame Sony for this, the same way you should blame them along with EA and Take-Two for increasing game prices to $70. So, you know, it's a little bit, it's like walking the edge of like passive aggressiveness. And I said, well, of course, Microsoft will point out that other companies are also trying to make profit and raising prices, but it doesn't change the fact that Microsoft is the only one buying publishers like ABK. That does matter a lot. But if we go further into this, he says, at the end of the day, the faux concern baiting is pointless because your favorite brand also had a price increase without anything to justify it. As the market leader, they set the table. Who's to say Microsoft increases Game Pass prices if Sony doesn't? And I say, but Sony has nothing to do with this, man. A regulator cited Microsoft raising the price of Game Pass as a reason why the mergers should be blocked. Microsoft told the regulator that a price increase wouldn't happen if they acquired ABK, and then it did after the merger. And so he says, and this is where it concluded, he says, and the FTC would have to prove that the ABK deal was the reasoning behind the price increase. And thanks to Sony, they can't prove that anymore because now there's a precedent to price increases from their competition. I say, yeah, I admit that is likely how this is going to go down. Microsoft knows what they're doing, LOL. And see, I'm highlighting this because it doesn't have to get nasty, doesn't have to get toxic. Like, he's looking at it, this individual's looking at it more from the, yeah, they lied, but what's the outcome here? And I appreciate that. What is the outcome? The outcome is that Microsoft is going to be like, they're going to get away with it. It's just fine because what Microsoft will be able to do if Microsoft's feet are held to the fire, they will be able to turn to Sony and say, well, they increased their price and they didn't even add any more value. We're adding Call of Duty. We're adding all of these games. So if anything, Microsoft will be able to say, like, we have more of a reason to do this. Now, I do think that it doesn't, it's like to me, this is what this conversation is ultimately pointing out. Hey, Microsoft seemingly lied about not increasing the price to get the regulators to approve the deal. Yes. I don't think it matters. Yes, it doesn't matter because it's over and Microsoft got what they wanted and they're going to be able to do it because Sony is also a greedy corporation that also increased their prices. And then he mentions like $70 games and everything. And it's like, yeah, it's going to be hard for, like, Sony can't play the victim, Sony won't play the victim. But if regulators are going to try to stop Microsoft has more ammunition now that they can use. So I just wanted to highlight that these conversations don't always have to be toxic. A middle ground can be reached here. I have a couple of super chats, by the way. Chris Brown says, hold on. I got too much shit on my screen right now. Boss, please don't knock my light over. Getting back to the super chats here, we have Chris Brown saying, in Social Dead P&W is $30 at AMC. We said psych. Okay. We have Hickzock saying, you can't even summon an Elden Ring without $80. PS Plus is a scam. Hickzock calling out PS Plus. We have Money saying Sony Microsoft was lying to the regulators, to be honest. Well, yeah, that's the thing, too, is like, is Sony going to be truthful if it risks hurting, the outcome that they want to get? No. This is why I'm saying, dude, like, I've called Sony out for their lies as well, because Sony has lied. I'm going to honestly say that Sony has not necessarily been as dishonest in some areas where I think it's worked against them publicly, where, like, Sony at times just seems to make it clear, like, yeah, we're going to charge you more. We're going to get more. We want more money from you. Like, they don't, some people take it as like arrogance, and maybe it is, but they're just like, yeah, we're going to charge more. Yeah, we're going to do that. We want more money from you. And I get it. Like, that sucks too, because it's just like, oh, well, nobody wants that. But, they're just taking the opposite approach where they're just like, yeah, we're just going to rip the fucking Band-Aid off. And if you want to cry about it, but we're doing business. And I don't know. I could at least say, all right, well, at least you're not jerking me around in this case. But then again, you see something like what happened with PlayStation Plus, and it's like, I don't know about this, man. Like, what are you doing here? We have OK saying the whataboutism is low quality thinking / analysis. Yeah, some of it's crazy, man. Like, people, like, sometimes people don't even know what to say. Like, at least that guy that I just highlighted, like, he actually had, he took the conversation in an interesting direction. I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Let's see where it goes. Some of the replies I get on this shit are just so brain dead. It's like, why are you even here, man? We have a Kyle saying, MBG breathe, bro. And when you're ready, watch gory, cuddly carnage. PSG. I saw that already. Yeah, that looks wild. I wonder what your reaction would be. A game made for balls. I was like, dude, what am I looking at right now? It's like this game where you play as a cat killing unicorns with a hoverboard. It's insane. And Perfect Image says, why is it okay for excluding 40 to 60K people that love games? Well, because the money's got to be made, dude. The money's got to be made. That's why. I don't make the rules. If I head back to Twitter here, let's look at some of the other replies we got going on. Let me back up here. So this is another interesting one. This person, Jay Dookie, says, I don't see how the two are conclusively related. I can understand you wear blue tinted glasses, but to see literally everything getting more expensive and say this is a little silly. So I say, because this is a specific point that was raised by regulators that Microsoft had to fight against to force the acquisition through. Seems like people would rather blame inflation than accept Microsoft lies all the time and doesn't actually care about saving people money. You see what I'm saying? And his response, see, this is how I know I'm engaging, like you're saying, okay, with like the low quality thought and analysis. Went to the wrong tab there. Where his reply is, see those blue tinted glasses, man. They aren't a good look. Microsoft bad. I get it. Like, that's what you have in response to what I said? That's it? And then, see, look at this person. Don't worry, when Sony raises the price for their service, it will be back to, well, it's an industry-wide problem. Like, dude, Sony literally did raise the price of PlayStation Plus, and I didn't say it was an industry-wide problem. I didn't say that. I'm saying, Sony, what the fuck are you doing? This just seems greedy. I want to show you guys this. I want to show you how disingenuous and ridiculous these are, like, what these people have to say, where it's like, I could point out a literal fact. Like, it is just a fact. What I said is a fact. Microsoft can weasel their way out of it, which is, again, they know what they're doing. They can weasel their way out of it. But you can't deny that, like, they did something that they said they wouldn't. Look, I'm just going to be straight about it. I'm going to shoot straight. What kind of fucking moron would you have to be? What kind of moron would you have to be to genuinely, keyword being genuinely, like, if you want to bullshit about it and you want to play dumb, that's fine. But to genuinely believe that this price increase isn't the direct result of the Activision Blizzard acquisition, what kind of moron would you have to be? This is why it's disturbing to see people responding the way they are, because it's like, oh, that's the kind of moron you'd have to be. It's just sad, dude. It's sad because, like, again, man, you know what? Listen, though. Here's another truth. Here's another truth. You want to talk about not getting lost in the weeds of it and seeing the forest for the trees? The truth is, we witnessed people cheering on this acquisition. Like, we witnessed people cheering on a $1 trillion corporation consolidating this industry aggressively by absorbing Activision Blizzard and everything that accompanies it. People were cheering that on. So it is, in a way, it's not surprising that those same people, and I have to imagine they're the same people, those same people are going to come out and they're going to say at a moment like this, like, no, dude, they didn't lie about anything. This is months after the fact. This has nothing to do with Call of Duty. This has nothing to do with that. Like, they'll mention PlayStation Plus, even though that happened even longer. You know, even further away from this, they'll mention that. But when you mention the elephant in the room, which is they just acquired Activision Blizzard not that long ago, and they're putting Call of Duty in GamePass for the first time. You know? And now the price increases. Like, what? It's not hard to follow the fucking logic because it's obvious. So either people are incredibly gullible and naive, or they're playing stupid. And I can't tell because it's the internet. I can't tell which is which. It's insane, dude. We have Neutral Zone saying they should have done the price hike like 4 years later, and you will still say it was because of the Activision deal. Yeah, but dude, like, that's Neutral Zone. That's disingenuous because it's not 4 years later, man. Like, if it was 4 years later, you could turn to somebody like me in that moment and say, bro, that was fucking 4 years ago. That was 4 years ago. Price increases are going to happen. It hasn't even been a year. And you're right. You're right. People will still call that out, but it's a much harder argument to make where, like, will it still be a lie at that point? Well, what I can tell you is this. You will have 4 years worth of change. 4 years worth of change to potentially dissuade people from believing it was actually a lie. All the things that occurred, not just with Microsoft, but with Sony and with the industry as a whole, you could use that. And that's why I pointed out that what that one guy said, he said, well, Microsoft can defend themselves by simply pointing out, hey, Sony increased the price of PlayStation Plus too. And look at everybody else. Everybody else is increasing the price. So what I'm trying to say here is that a regulator who is, again, trying to stop this acquisition, a regulator pointed out that this is something you could do, and this is a potential reason why we want to stop this. Microsoft said we won't because of that. And I get it. I get it. Somebody can say, well, they never said they wouldn't raise the price. They just said they wouldn't raise the price because of Activision Blizzard. And that's why this is where I'm tired of people playing fucking dumb, dude. That's what I can't deal with. Like, you can love Microsoft and you can be a fan of everything they're doing. I don't care about any of that. You can defend this if you can come to me. Somebody did in my chat here. Okay, he says, look, I'm still paying for Game Pass Ultimate and I like it. And I'm like, cool, man. You can say that. And I'll be like, cool, dude. I'm happy for you. What I don't want to see are people doing, like, basically mimicking what Microsoft is doing. Trying to be slick about it, where it's like, come on, dude. Like, you really think people are that fucking stupid that we don't see, like, what you're actually doing, like the actual manipulation that's going on here, like the lies that are actually occurring? I can't stop it. Microsoft already won here. It's over. I just don't appreciate seeing people act like this isn't clearly what's happening in front of their face. That's the thing that bothers me. And what makes it worse is when I'm out here just trying to show people, just like I do with Sony, because these are the same fucktards that, dude, as soon as I say it about Sony, they were already saying it. They're already there. They're there day one. Yeah. The fuck is Sony doing? And they completely ignore me, by the way. They completely fucking ignore me when I'm also being like, yeah, I don't know what Sony's doing. What the fuck are they doing? Sony, what are you doing? When I'm calling out Sony, they ignore me. When I'm calling out Microsoft, I'm just wearing blue tinted glasses. It's a fucking joke. These people prove that if you try to engage with this type of stuff, like in gaming, and I know it applies outside of gaming, if you try to engage with it in these spaces, like, you're going to be met with a level of stupidity and disingenuousness that is not healthy, like, just flat out not healthy. Here's what I need to know. This is the only question that I need an answer to. This is the only question I need an answer to. Why is it so hard for like so many people, seemingly certain people, why is it so hard for them to admit that Microsoft lies? That's the question I need answered from these people is why is it so hard to admit that? Like, it's okay. It's like you can still like them and you can still be a fan of what they're doing and you can still be a fan of their products and their services and their games. But I just need to know why is it, because it's not hard for me at all to admit that Sony lies. Of course they lie. They don't lie literally about anything, everything, and neither does Microsoft. Microsoft doesn't lie about everything. But Sony lies because they're a corporation and their truth is only temporary. Some things are a little bit more, some lies are a little bit more egregious than others. In this case, this to me is an egregious lie that people should be calling Microsoft out for. Because I think the biggest thing that people are missing here is that you as the consumer are not winning. You're too busy trying to fight me for calling out Microsoft, and you're getting completely distracted from the fact that this doesn't help you. They raised the price that you are going to have to pay when they said they wouldn't. I'm not the bad guy. I'm not the enemy. You can continue to think I am. But I'm just out here fucking pointing out something that, as I was covering this whole deal last year, because God knows I had to cover this thing, and it got tiring. This is the shit I saw. And I remember back in March of last year when Microsoft said, oh, we're not going to raise the price of GamePass. I remember we all looked at each other. We're like, that's bullshit, dude. Like, we know it's bullshit. You know it's bullshit. I know it's bullshit. We know that fucking price is going up. And Microsoft just sat there smiling, saying, no, it won't. No, not because of Activision Blizzard. Come on. That's the way this shit goes, though, man. This is why I would never fucking be a lawyer, bro. I would never be a lawyer. All right. Just for shits and giggles, let's see. Oh, here's a funny one. This one was funny to me, too. Look at this guy. Honest question, do you get tired of console warring? Like, that's what I mean. Look, 80 people agree. Don't you get tired of console warring? Like, bro, why don't you acknowledge what I said? You scared? Are you afraid? Are you afraid to acknowledge what I just showed you? You won't. You won't acknowledge it because you don't know what to say. In fact, you probably agree. You probably agree that, yeah, it looks like Microsoft kind of lied. Uh-oh. That's the thing, man. Hey, we got to shift this conversation. MBG, rather than talk about the lie that Microsoft just got caught in, why don't we talk about your console warring? These people, bro. I need to know if these people are real or if these are fucking bots. Like, are these bot accounts? These are probably Microsoft employees and shit undercover. I'm not gonna lie. It makes for some pretty entertaining content here, I think. This person says they didn't say the price increase was caused by the merger. See, here's what I mean. Next, you'll tell me they don't actually want to recoup the cost of their $70 billion purchase as fast as possible now that the regulators are out of the picture. Like, dude, this is what I'm saying. Don't people realize, like, you are siding with a multi-trillion-dollar company, dude. You're putting more trust and faith in that company. Well, they didn't say, like, is this a fucking Microsoft lawyer? This has to be a Microsoft lawyer, bro. Oh, man. That is some funny shit. As a result of the Activision merger, inflation isn't a result of the Activision merger. Yeah, you're right. Microsoft being $70 billion less richer is a result. Oh, my God. I can't, dude. I just can't. I would be that guy if I was in court, bro, where they'd have to, the bailiff would have to get me the fuck out of there. I love it. I love it. It's inflation, bro. Don't you get it? Inflation. Educate yourself. Microsoft doesn't lie. They would never lie. Fuck. I think I drank too much coffee too fast, man. Microsoft is my friend. All right? Phil told me. Phil told me when we all play, we all win. I win. You lose. I win. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is just how I imagine, like, people acting when they're coming across my fucking tweets, getting all upset and shit. I got the gangsta lip raise going on. I'll be honest, man. Like, it's really it's mostly, it's like 99% just entertainment value. Dude, it's really hot in this room right now, bro. I am actually sweating. It's inflation, bro. Financial literacy, you have not. Listen, can you tell me the difference between inflation and a corporation putting profitability ahead of all else, like ahead of everything? What's the difference? Tell me what the difference is. No, I know you're being sarcastic, NVC, but I'm trying. This is where I say, like, I try to understand both sides, and what I'm going to try to do right now is I'm going to try. Okay, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say Microsoft. Let's say it is inflation. Okay. If we replace the word Activision Blizzard, the words Activision Blizzard merger with inflation, we increase the price of Game Pass because of inflation. Okay? But what's the end result? What's the end result? The end result is exactly the same. The end result is you said you wouldn't increase the price as a result of the Activision Blizzard. If basically what Microsoft said is, if we get Activision Blizzard, we won't increase the price. We won't increase the Jesus Christ. We won't increase the price of Game Pass because of Activision Blizzard if we acquire them. Okay, what happens next? You acquired Activision Blizzard. Okay. What happens next? You announce Call of Duty's going in the Game Pass. So a major Activision Blizzard game going in the Game Pass. What happens next? A price increase happens next. Okay. So what are we blaming again? We're blaming inflation. Oh, you mean the thing that has been occurring for years and years and years and years? You know, the thing that, like, basically has just been going on this whole time? Oh, I get it. It's worse this year. Oh, okay. Okay. So again, does that change the fact that Microsoft is $70 billion less richer? $70 billion in a hole that they made themselves. Inflation didn't make that $70 billion hole. No. Inflation isn't why Game Pass is failing. Inflation is not why people are not buying Xboxes. That's all of that. Microsoft did that. That $70 billion hole exists because Microsoft created it, and they need to fill it real quick, and they got to make their money back. This is why I'm trying to explain to people, like, if you really believe the bullshit, you're just letting Microsoft get away with something that they shouldn't be getting away with. And I'm not even talking about the acquisition. Microsoft is free to do whatever the fuck they want. And they're going to do what they want. The only thing I want from people is to just stop believing the bullshit. Stop defending the bullshit. I'm not asking you to hate Microsoft. I'm not telling you to unsubscribe. I'm not saying any of this. I'm just saying, when Microsoft is called out for something that is like they should absolutely be called out for, don't try to jump in front of them. Don't try to jump in front of the bullet for them. Let them take that fucking bullet. They'll be just fine. Just like if Sony does something fucking stupid, I should not jump in front of that bullet, and neither should you. Let Sony take the fucking brunt of that because they probably deserve it. This is what bothers me about people, man, is people are getting so weird. And I get it. Like, I'm a PlayStation person. I get it. So it's like, you know, there are plenty of messages here, people being like, well, how is this, what does this matter to you? You don't play on Game Pass. I was like, well, actually, I played Hellblade 2 on Game Pass last month. You wouldn't know that because you don't follow me or watch my content, probably because you'll say something like, oh, because your shit's boring. So I don't get it. You'll make claims about shit you don't know, but then defend it by saying I don't watch your stuff because I don't like you? Yeah, this is the internet, people. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. Like, I had to cover the Activision Blizzard deal, whether I wanted to or not, because Sony was directly involved with that. So what we're referring to here, by the way, March 2023, that was in the middle of this acquisition. That was in the middle of all this. So yeah, I was there covering it. So this is relevant to me because you know what I do remember? What I do remember is back in March of 2023 getting fucking dragged by the internet because I was trying to tell people, don't fall for Microsoft's bullshit, guys. Don't do it. Like, they're not going to try to actually save you money in the end. They just want more power and more money themselves. That's what this is about. They'll say whatever they have to say to convince you and the regulators otherwise. Don't fall for it. If you want to cheer it on, but don't be disingenuous about it. Call a spade here. And I got dragged for that. So, I don't know. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, man? Before I read these super chats, let me just scroll a little bit further. See what other nonsense is going on here. See, at least that, look, this person is saying the same thing, and at least they're like kind of laughing about it because they realize it's pretty, yeah, it's like, as a result of the Activision merger, technically it's not a lie based on the headline. I mean, you know, if you read it, reading comprehension, you know, it's like, oh, okay, okay, all right. The worry was that Xbox would immediately raise prices after the acquisition of ABK. No business in a capitalist society would survive without raising prices for services it offers to consumers. If you thought that this meant that they would never raise the price again after the ABK deal, you're the stupid one for believing the clickbait headline. Like, dude, listen. I don't think anybody here is saying that Microsoft was never going to increase the prices. Oh my God, dude. All right. As a result of the Activision Blizzard merger, let's dissect this a little bit. What does that mean? As a result of the Activision Blizzard merger. Okay, well, what qualifies as the result? Is it 1 month later? Is it 3 months later? Is it 6 months later? Is it a year later? Is it 2 years later? Is it 5 years later? I'm going to reiterate this one more time, and then I'm going to stop because I'm clearly getting like too in the weeds here. Call of Duty, not even Black Ops 6, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3. Call of Duty MW3 is going to be added to Game Pass this month. This month. I have a question. What other Activision Blizzard titles came to Game Pass prior to Call of Duty? Diablo? So there's Diablo. Okay. Is there anything else other than Diablo? Is there any other Call of Duty? I can't think of any. Diablo is the only one I can think of. That seems to be the only game that was added to Game Pass from Activision Blizzard. But people can't kind of see the correlation here where Microsoft didn't acquire Activision Blizzard for Diablo. Like, it's part of it. Like, yeah, hey, it's another established IP. We can make money off that. Sure. They acquired Activision Blizzard for Call of Duty. Let me ask you, what were the regulators fixated on when they were trying to stop Microsoft from acquiring ABK? What game were they fixated on? What game were they constantly talking about? Was it Diablo? No, it was Call of Duty. Why do you think that is? It's because Call of Duty is the juggernaut here. Call of Duty is the game that Microsoft knows they can use to do some real fucking damage. If they choose to. Again, just a reminder, Microsoft offered a 3-year deal. You're talking about the same people out here defending Microsoft against me, trying to tell me, well, technically, no, technically. Microsoft said themselves, we're not going to give you a 10-year deal, Sony. We'll give it to you. Sign this 3-year contract. That same company turns around and says, oh, we're not going to take Call of Duty off. We're not going to do that. We were just fucking around with Sony. We just wanted to see if they would actually sign a 3-year deal. Why even present a 3-year deal if you're not planning on taking the game away? Presenting a 3-year deal basically implies you got 3 years till we take the game away. But these same fucking people will come out and say to me and many others that, well, technically, like, no, dude, like, stop fucking bullshitting yourself. We know what Microsoft's end goal is here. And I'm trying to say it's not a coincidence that the first time Call of Duty is going to enter Game Pass, the latest Call of Duty that just released 2 months before, actually, like 3 months before the new one comes out. It's not a coincidence that this happens to be the exact same time that they're like, you know what? We're going to increase the price and we're going to remove day one games from a standard tier. It's because of Call of Duty. It's because Call of Duty is what centered around the Activision Blizzard deal. So if you're somebody who is sitting here saying, well, they didn't do it right after, yeah, it's because Call of Duty has not been in Game Pass. Call of Duty has just been sold at full price this entire time. Like, Call of Duty was not once used as a reason to get people to subscribe to Game Pass until now. And it hasn't even been a year. I'm just saying, man, people are playing dumb, and I don't appreciate it. Like, why? Why are you playing dumb? I don't know. You know what I think it is? If I'm trying to like truly rationalize this shit here, you know what I think it might be? I think it's because people really do have faith in Microsoft, man. Think about it. I'm going to read these super chats. I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting, but let me just finish my diatribe here. I think it's that there are people who have genuine, real faith in Microsoft that Microsoft's going to do right by them. You know, that like in the end, if I support Microsoft and I continue to subscribe to Game Pass, they believe that all of the things that Microsoft is doing is just going to yield better results for them as the consumer. And I can kind of understand where that comes from, because it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, they're acquiring more studios and more games, and they're keep telling we're going to put all this in Game Pass. We're going to put all this in Game Pass. But I do think that at some point, it's like, at some point, I think everybody's got to realize, like, they're not doing it for you in the way that you think they are. You know, like, in the end, Game Pass is going to be no different than if you were to go buy your game for $70. In the end, not now, but in the end, you're going to end up giving so much money to Microsoft if you just stay subscribed, that if you were to like break it down, I'm not saying you would be able to buy the amount of games, right, that you would get on their subscription service. You wouldn't, but you you probably come to the realization like, oh shit, this is like just as expensive if I were buying my games. And maybe you can feel reassured that like, but I'm getting more, I guess. But what if you're not playing all those games? What if you're not interested in all of them? I'm just trying to tell people, dude, that like, it is, I guess at this point, I just don't know what people are defending. I think that's what I'm getting like kind of caught up in this. I don't know what people are defending. Can somebody tell me? All right, let me read. While you guys are telling me that, I need to read the super chats. Perfect Image, I read that super chat. Neutral Zone, I read that. Feral Flame, a member for 8 months, says, you hear about Super Sega, Spanish dev team, can play all physical Sega console games. They reached out to Sega in an attempt to form a partnership. I actually didn't hear anything about this. No. That's interesting. That's good. That's good, man. I was reading up or watching a video on that Crazy Taxi live service game. You guys hear about that? We have Makwi Ninja, Mach W Ninja. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. I apologize if I destroyed it. You're saying they want to be justified in their purchase, MBG. It feels better to blame inflation over being lied to. Well, that's what I mean, man. It's like, I think people sometimes confuse when I call out Microsoft, like they take it as like, so you got to be on my side. Like, no, I guess I could come off that way, but it's like, no, I just want this stuff to be on equal ground, like on equal footing. I want the playing field to be leveled, because it is. It is. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, it is two sides of the same coin. And I just wish that more people would come to that realization that you can have your preference for whatever reason. Like, your reason for why you want to engage with a specific brand or a specific product or whatever or service, you don't have to explain that shit to anybody. That's for you, bro. But considering how many people take to the internet and want to have these conversations and want to engage in this stuff, like, I just wish that people would be more reasonable in kind of acknowledging that we are talking about two sides of the same coin here. If we're talking about it from a business ethics standpoint. And a lot of times that's what this bleeds into. And maybe the mistake is just diving into it that deeply to begin with. Shit. Fuck. What's going on there? I don't know why that was shaking up. Justification for Game Pass is totally justified. Whoa. All right. We have okay with the super chat saying, because they have unironically emotionally invested their identity into the image of a corporation that will grotesquely defend as if it's their own flesh, every future Game Pass price hike is tied in part to the ABK deal. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the more I think about it, the more it's like it it seems clear to me that once Microsoft as the parent company got more deeply involved with the Xbox brand, ever since that happened, they have been playing a different game. They have been playing this game of 4D chess that it it's working. Like I didn't think it would work so well. I thought that more people would be able to kind of again, it's not about like you should hate Microsoft. Like no, they're just making something for you to hopefully, you give them your money. But I just thought that people who are more deeply involved with it, I thought that they would have been able to kind of like see through the nonsense of it all a little bit more. Like I understand why people call me a PlayStation fanboy. I get that. And I understand why there are just some people where like they don't want to hear anything I have to say about anything because I like PlayStation much more than Xbox. I get that. Like if you're somebody who likes Xbox more than PlayStation, yeah, I don't think you would want to necessarily seek out my opinion first about Xbox. But I've always just been frustrated by the fact that like out of everything here that has frustrated me the most when it comes to the reactions I've seen people have based on what I'm saying, the thing that has truly frustrated me the most is people trying to paint the most disingenuous picture of me in the sense that we will not acknowledge that when Sony did this, you were hard on them and you called them out and you held their feet to the fire and you were very unhappy and you did not go easy on them. I don't like that there are people that are doing that are blatantly ignoring that, pretending that doesn't exist, pretending that didn't happen, while simultaneously trying to convince people out there that you shouldn't listen to what I have to say because of that. That's the part that gets me. It's not even that you don't want to give credit where it's due. It's not even that you want to paint me as the crazed fanboy that we just laugh at. That's fine. I get that. That's going to happen no matter what. What I don't appreciate is when you do that, but then you go on to list that as a reason why you shouldn't listen to me or why you shouldn't even take anything that I have to say seriously. Like, to me, that's where things are too unfair and too skewed, where it's like, but I don't get it. Like, I'm saying a lot of the same things you're probably saying. And I'm not parroting you. I was probably saying it before you even did. I don't know, man. It's a very weird dynamic out here, and I don't quite understand it. And maybe the problem is I keep trying to figure it out. Maybe that's the problem, because maybe there is no figuring it out. But anyway, we have money here with the super chat saying, I think the reason people attack you is because you whisper Microsoft's successes and shout their failures. You got to balance it. Game Pass is still giving value. Yeah, I mean that could make sense. That could make sense. I mean, there's no denying that because I do have a bias towards PlayStation, I get much more excited about PlayStation with certain things than I do anything Microsoft. And I don't know, man. I guess that's what makes it weird is people, I think everybody has preferences at the end of the day. Like, I think everybody has their own preferences, and I think everybody makes decisions based on those preferences. And I think that a lot of people also feel like, when they're talking about it, that they're going to, if there's something that you prefer, if you prefer one thing over another, you're likely going to give it the benefit of the doubt. And that's why I understand. Like, that's why I try to be as reasonable and fair as I can, where it's like, listen, dude, if you get triggered by me calling Microsoft a liar, and I post these things to show, like, this is why I'm calling them a liar. I get that. I get it. Like, you have some kind of investment, even if it's on a psychological level, with this brand. Sure. Okay. It's not surprising. But I just surprised that, like, what is surprising is too many people are just like, and that's it. Like, there's no more thought process behind that. But yeah, you're probably right, man. I get, you know what I think it comes down to, money? Because, like, I'm really thinking about it. I'm not the proper messenger. I'm not. There you go. That's the answer. We did it. We came to the conclusion here. I am not the person that should, like, I am the person that will get shot sending the message. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the messenger, bro. I shouldn't be the messenger. But the fact that this is, you know what I think it is too? I think it's the fact that this is attached to the ABK deal more than anything. More than anything. I think it's because, like, I went through all this shit last year and it was pretty crazy, you know? And one thing I remember about the whole Activision Blizzard deal last year is people were going, they were running wild with narratives that were just so, it wasn't their narratives that was so shocking. It was the fact that so many people adopted and subscribed to that narrative, where it's like, guys, are you kidding me? Like, that, you got to be kidding me right now. But they weren't. They were very serious. Like, they're like, no, dude, this is it. And I was just like, holy shit, what is Microsoft doing to these people? Like, these people have these, Microsoft has these people twisted into a pretzel wrapped around their entire fucking hand. You know, like, how are people falling for this shit? I don't know. I guess that's just the way these things go sometimes. King Sam, a member for 14 months, says, still angry about Tango's shutdown. F Xbox. Nothing Microsoft can do to make it right. Interested in Obsidian's games and BGS with Elder Scrolls 6, but mostly done with Xbox. Yeah, I mean, there might be a time in the future where I do resubscribe to Game Pass Ultimate temporarily. I mean, I was kind of trying to figure out how I was going to play Hellblade 2, and I had a free month of Game Pass, which was nice. But yeah, I don't know. There are some games in Xbox's future that I'm interested in, but not a ton right now. And I don't know if I'm going to play Call of Duty this year. I probably am. Truthfully, I'm probably, like, I've always liked the Black Ops games. I probably will end up playing Call of Duty. I ain't going to subscribe to Game Pass to play it, though. Tell you that. Man, I'm tired. Anybody else feeling kind of drained? I feel like I fucking really, I feel like I got a workout. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I got a straight up workout here. It's hot in this room. All right. Oops. Boss, I can't see my screen, man. Boss. I'm gonna give him some treats. Hold on. Come on. Well, that's about it for those. Look, I don't know what you're talking about. I just see WD-40 in the chat. Oh, what are you talking about? I'm just trying to figure out right now if like my air conditioning is on or not, because like, dude, I am sweating. I am like drenched underneath this shirt right now, dude, and this hat. It is okay. Oh my god, the heat's getting to me. Heat warning has been issued till 8 p.m. Shit. Like, is this global warming though? I don't even know. Is this global warming? Sorry, I'm trying to clean up my tabs here. Sorry for the dead air. Well, either way, in conclusion here, guys, boss, there's no way. Holy shit, did that come up on camera? Did you guys just see that? Boss, are you all right? This cat just tried to jump over to my desk and fucking failed miserably. Oh, you didn't see it? You probably saw him jump. Okay, it cuts off here. So you didn't see it. Dude, he did that thing that you see in like cat fail videos where he jumped off and like his fucking chest hit the desk and he just like flew back, bro. Be careful, boss. Be careful, my friend. I don't know if he's just getting lazy or if he is like are you getting out of shape, boss? Oh, that was an epic fail right there. He's okay, he's fine. But it just looked like, damn, dude. He's getting fat. Boss. No. He's losing his agility. Well, to be fair, you know what? To be fair, the area that he has to jump to, there's a bunch of shit on my desk. He has about like this much space. You saw the camera move? That was boss's fat body just smashing into the desk, shaking it. Oh my god. He's just looking at me like I'm still agile, right? I'm still cool. Yeah, you're still cool, boss. We still love you. We still love you. So we got Mock W Ninja or Mock We Ninja. I don't know if I'm saying your name, and again, I'm sorry if I continue to butcher it. You're saying hurricane in Texas in July, definitely global warming. Yeah, what is up with that? That doesn't sound good. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do, guys? What are we gonna do? I'm scared. I'm not really scared. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. Peace and love, bro. Love thy enemy, right? All the people who don't like me, I love you guys. It's okay. All the people who are trying to destroy my YouTube channel and destroy my reputation and destroy my community and destroy us, I love you guys. I'm at peace. Peace and love. But with peace and love out of the way, conclusive thoughts here. Yeah, I don't know. I think I basically said everything I need to say in this regarding this topic. I don't think that there's much else left to be said. I probably did focus too much on the lie bullshit and whatever, but the reality is the price of Game Pass has gone up. There's a new standard tier removing day one games. I do think the messaging behind Game Pass ultimately does get messier. I do think that the messaging does get messier, but we'll have to see what ends up happening. I don't think that this is going to necessarily impact Sony very much. I think Sony is just probably like, well, all right, probably even less reason to consider going day and date with our games ever in a service. I don't think Sony was ever contemplating even doing that in the first place, but if they were, I think this definitely solidifies it. Final nail in the coffin, knowing that Microsoft has to raise the price now or is raising the price. Yeah, there's no way Sony's going to do that unless Game Pass starts to grow like crazy and it becomes the new way that people are playing games. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I didn't realize we're about to hit the 3-hour mark. I think this will be a good place to wrap the stream up, guys. Just trying to make sure I didn't forget to mention any important topics. I don't know. I think we covered it all. You're playing 1942 on PlayStation 2. You talking about Battlefield? All right. So guys, that's going to do it for this stream. It's like this room's really starting to get hot. I got to go make sure that my air is running okay or that something didn't go wrong with it. Because I don't normally sweat like this. I don't know. It's like it's abnormally hot in this room right now. I'm actually like worried about my PC. Like I can hear the fan going crazy down there. No members lounge today. We'll be doing another one probably tomorrow. I actually wasn't even really planning on streaming today, but I figured, you know what? This is a pretty interesting topic. A lot of people talking about it. Do some ranting, whatever, you know. We'll do some crying. But yeah, we should be doing another stream tomorrow, and we should be doing a members lounge as well. Yeah, so guys, just want to thank you for tuning in. For everybody who became a member or re-upped their membership, thank you guys. For everybody who dropped a super chat, thank you as well. I appreciate all the direct support, or if you're donating directly through the donation link, thank you guys so much. As I have always said and will continue to say as long as it's true, I couldn't do this without you. You guys are the sponsors of the channel, so very much appreciate it. We have an awesome community here. Hatred stream, I think it's a bit intense. There was some ranting. I wouldn't say it's hatred. Hatred's strong. You know, I'm not like hating. It's not that serious. Maybe a little bit of frustration. A little bit of frustration stream. Yeah, I keep forgetting, dude, that Concord beta is about to drop in 2 days. The closed beta. Keep forgetting about that. All right. Well, I also want to give a shout out to Devil Shooter. Guys, if you see Devil Shooter in the comments, give him some thanks. Show him some love. I know he'll really appreciate that. He does the timestamps for the streams. He does a great job. So make sure you guys show him some thanks. And he did get a membership. I think we only got like 2 membership gifts today, but he got one of them. So good stuff there. And yeah, that does it. So guys, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to go try to cool off. And yeah, I should see you guys back here tomorrow. So until then, take care, everyone.